What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode, another week of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Ubisoft Studios that spent 10 years making Black Flag spin-off Skull and Bones comes full circle, back remaking Black Flag. We're going to talk about Yoshida shuts down PlayStation's purists, insists that PC ports never hurt PlayStation 5 sales, but funded the next blockbusters. We're going to talk about that as well. We're also going to talk about a PlayStation DRM bug sparks fear for digital game access. And then we're also going to watch a video by Wise Guy Vito talking about Helldivers 2, right? He's one of many people talking about Helldivers 2. Give me 1 second. I don't know why my camera is not... There we go. I was like, I don't know why it does that. All of a sudden it gets... the white balance gets messed up. Anyway, we're going to talk about Helldivers 2 because right now, like, the player base is, like, revolting against them, right? And the CEO or the game director had a Ask Me Anything questions. He's got more than answer, but he's answered a few. This video talks about that. Like I said, there's many other people that are talking about this as well. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Good morning, chat. How's everyone doing? Going on, Travis? Eclipse, good morning. Jason, good morning. Altern, good morning. Sarge, Roic, Aku. Who am I missing? Big Mo, Jesse Mack, Kylo, Wonder Rose, Water Bear. Good morning to everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a good weekend. I had an eventful weekend. We went to Disney World on Friday and Epcot on Saturday, and then Sunday we did absolutely nothing. So it was a theme park weekend. We kind of just go for like a couple hours, do a couple rides and stuff like that. They just redid the Buzz Lightyear ride, if you've ever been on that, with the little laser guns that you shoot. They updated that a couple of months ago, opened it a couple months ago or whatever. So we finally went back and went on that. Played a couple games, been playing a crap ton of Winrose this weekend. I see Roic talked about 1.3 million copies sold on Steam. I got about 54 hours into Winrose. I'm building like this small little city on my island right now. I'm level 11, almost level 12 right now. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't gone back to Crimson Desert. I haven't played in like, I don't know, since last Monday. I haven't played. So tonight we might play Crimson Desert. We might play Winrose. I kind of want to play Winrose because I'm in this like zone right now where I'm upgrading stuff and I want to get more accomplished. So how's everyone? How's everyone's weekend? Hope everyone had a good one. Relaxed. Play a lot of games. All right. Let's go over the first story I want to talk about, which is Ubisoft, right? We try to make the thumbnail the main story, right? And then after the fact, we kind of break them out. I've been doing uploads for the breakout videos. So if you guys like that, if you miss the full show, don't want to sit here for 2 hours, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch one of the topics. We put them up there. Not all the topics, but we put the topics up there so you guys can watch it after the fact as well. All right, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just cover news stories, have conversations, give you my thoughts and opinions. Then we get your thoughts and opinions as well. All right, so Ubisoft Studios that spent 10 years making Black Flag spin-off Skull and Bones comes full circle by remaking Black Flag. Now, I'm a little confused by the title, right? Because it was well over 10 years. I'm pretty sure Skull and Bones was in development for like 13 years. Now, obviously, Skull and Bones has been out for 2. They've been still working towards it, but the majority of the team wasn't working on the game anymore. Once it launched, they were like, whatever. And last week, we did see Ubisoft's Black Flag resync, okay? And it looks good. It does. It looks good. But they're not getting me. I know many of you guys are big fans of the Assassin's Creed series. You liked the Black Flag back in the day. I own it. Love it. Okay? But Ubisoft doesn't get a pass just because they make something that should have been made 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Even though it's been 13 years since the game came out. But they were supposed to make a sequel. They were supposed to make something, but instead they went the live service route and they made Skull and Bones. And now the same team that made Skull and Bones is now making Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Ubisoft Singapore is leading development of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and currently, or surely, by now, they're also getting tired of the whole pirates thing. Probably. They're probably, oh, Jesus Christ. They're like in hell, right? They're in hell over there. After a year of leaks and horsing around, Ubisoft probably didn't even find nearly as funny as they did Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, was finally giving the official curtain lifting today, which is last week. The reveal of the gaming's worst-kept secret was pretty much what we expected. It's a remake of Black Flag. But hidden in Ubisoft's big announcement roundup is a fun little bit of trivia. Development is being led by Ubisoft Singapore. Ubisoft Singapore is one of the many studios Ubisoft has around the world, but it's notable in its particular context because Singapore has also developed Skull and Bones. Ubi also a big pirate fantasy adventure, the game whose well-documented difficulties enabled me to do this. He says, I can't believe I'm saying this again, but Skull and Bones is delayed again. And that was in October of 2023. Okay, he says, I can't believe I'm saying this again, that Skull and Bones was delayed again. And that was January 11th of 2023, right? So, like, you see, January, October, right? It writes itself. And then there's this one. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Skull and Bones is delayed again. And that was September 28th of 2022. So Skull and Bones was a victim of its own Ubisoft curse, you see, where Black Flag Resynced was destined to leak. Skull and Bones was doomed to delays, at least one of which happens less than 2 months ahead of the planned release in 2022. That date was itself resulted in multiple prior delays. Skull and Bones was announced in 2017 and was originally supposed to be out in 2018. Missed by that much. Think about that for a second. And we have trash knights in here that will protect Skull and Bones with their life. They'll be like, it's a great game. It was supposed to come out in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. It's only 5 years delay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So it says, I'm not suggesting here that Ubisoft is going to mash the brakes on Black Flag Resynced until 2032. As much as I enjoy utterly baseless, wild speculations, I'm pretty confident it will make its July 9th release target. I do too. You know why? Because it's a game. It's a game. And not only is it a game, but it's a game that is just a self-contained game. It's not a live service game. There's no battle passes. There's no microtransactions, at least that we know of. It's just Assassin's Creed Black Flag from 13 years ago. And all they're doing is sprucing it up, putting some makeup on it, make it look great, and it's the same game. That's why I don't think it's going to be delayed, even if it's delayed for a couple of weeks or months maybe, for maybe a little bit of polish, but we're not going to get a Skull and Bones scenario here with this, right? But the recall that worked on Skull and Bones began in 2013, right on the heels of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's release. It was originally envisioned as a multiplayer expansion for Black Flag, right? That's where it started. That's where Skull and Bones started. A multiplayer expansion for Black Flag, sort of like what they've done for The Last of Us they wanted to do, or Spider-Man what they wanted to do, like that type of thing, right? Just a multiplayer, Ghost of Yotei, Ghost of Tsushima, where they added the multiplayer afterwards. After more than 10 years of tossing and turbulent seas, Singapore finally shoves Skull and Bones out the door, and what they do, you get told, you're doing Black Flag again. Okay? Now, it's living as they say goes, but holy cow, after 13 solid years of working on Edward Kenwin and various legal distinct spin-off adventures, I would imagine that Singapore's squad is really looking forward to turning the attention to something different. Hey, maybe Ubisoft can put them to work beyond Good and Evil 2, getting that the door shouldn't eat up more than, another 17 years? So for the record, Ubisoft Singapore isn't working on Black Flag Resync alone. They're not included on the announcement page, but mashed down in the fine print of the actual press release list and the code. That makes much more sense. Because it's like, how are they working on Skull and Bones for the last 13 years? And yet, or actually 15 years, but now they're also working on Black Flag. It means that Black Flag was probably having issues, and they're like, you know what? We need another studio. Get on it. Right? Again, that's just my speculation. They're not included on the announcement, as it says. In charge of production, Gary Oldman's in charge of production. The full roster includes Ubisoft Barcelona, Ubisoft Belgrande, Ubisoft Blue Byte, Ubisoft, I don't even know how to say that, There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Are you telling me there's 15 studios that worked on this? Hold on a second. They're not included on the announcement page, but the mashup of the fine print actually press release of co-developed studios and basically somehow put Gary Oldman in charge of production. The full roster includes, holy Christ, 15 studios. 15 studios worked on Skull and Bones. Bro, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. It looks good. It looks good. We made fun of EA with 5 studios for 4 years, and they took the team, Singapore, and was like, hey, I know you're done with Skull and Bones now, but can you help us with Black Flag, the game that you were originally supposed to make a multiplayer game for, but now can you just make the resynced version of it, the reimagined version of it? And they're like, yeah, sure. Who else is on it? Everybody. Everybody's on it. Again, the full roster includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 studios. 16 including theirs, because Singapore's not on there. That's insane if they had that many people working on it. Look, Ubisoft has its issues. Okay? They haven't won me over. Right? If Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync comes out and it's exactly what the last game was, as far as it's polished, it's good, it's back to old school Ubisoft, that is one data point on Ubisoft's list that they did something well. You guys know my rule. To win me back, you got to do 2 in a row. Okay? So if they come out with Black Flag Resynced and it's fantastic, that's one. Then they got to come out with a second game that's also fantastic, and then and only then will they truly win me back. And even when that third one comes out, I got to wait for reviews, because we don't do pre-orders or first day or day one purchases here until we see some sort of actual data, right? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? Has Ubisoft Men in Black'd you? Have they flashed you with the little device? And are you forgiving them everything they've done and how they screwed up so many things? Remember, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in production. Okay? Or are you like, nah, I'm good. I'm still not getting it. I'm still not getting Black Flag. But let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Come on, Ray. Kyle says, am I wrong for not liking Black Flag? I got it with the Xbox One, and same with me, Kylo. That's exactly what I got. I got it with the bundle of Xbox One and played it for like an hour and never played it again. I played it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. But I did get it with the bundle. Jason says, when's Skull and Bones 2? Oh, they're working on that. They're working on that now. It'll be another 13, 15 years. So by like 2040, you should get it. By 2040. Travis says, a Black Flag is amazing, but it's not for everyone. Can't you say that for any game? Like, seriously. Can't you just say that for any game? This game is amazing, if you like it, right? And it's not made for everybody. You know why? Because not every game is made for everybody. Eclipse says, no, I'm with you, Kylo. I think that's when Ubisoft became what it became, an open world slop. It's an interesting take. It's an interesting take, Eclipse. It's interesting because there was a downtick. I don't know where that was with what game. I think it was after Black Flag. That could have been the beginning of the end, right? Ray says they added content, new characters, plus no load screens. No, I saw what they did. It looks good. It looks good. Hopefully it is good. They have 15 studios work on it. Travis, you could say the exact same thing. Insert game that you hate here, right? It says, you all scare me. Only weirdos hates. Let me insert a game for you. Elden Ring. Are you wrong for it? No, you're not. But you are weird. Yes, no question there. You see what I'm saying? It's amazing the stuff that you say when you like something, but someone else doesn't like it. But when someone else likes something and you don't like it, it works the actual opposite way for you. Sarge says, when you get the government money, you get government effort. Get bent. Kyle says, yeah, I just prefer the original Assassin's Creed games. I love Brotherhood. Brotherhood, for me, was like the last great Assassin's Creed game. Jason says, dog shit company, never buy their trash. I mean, right now, Jason, I'm with you. I can't remember the last Ubisoft game I bought. Oh, I do. Division 2. That's the last Ubisoft game I bought. I played the Star Wars game, but we played it for a month off of Ubisoft Plus. I'll get it on sale one day, probably wait $20. I'll be honest. The resynced version, I'll just wait for it to come on Game Pass or like super discount because I already own it. I'm not going to buy a full price game again for a remake. You guys know where I stand on remakes and stuff like that. So let's go on, just enough. Let's go on, Jesse Mac. At first glance, the beginning of the Skull and Bones was in 2018. Development stage was AC Black Flag remake before they changed it to Skull and Bones. No, it was a multiplayer. It was a multiplayer Black Flag. It wasn't a anything else than that. It was a multiplayer Black Flag that they moved into a live service game, chasing trends, basically. It's inconceivable. What's going on, Mr. Z? Ray says, should I skip a good game? Should I skip a good game because the publishers suck as a whole? It all depends on what you believe in, right? It all depends on what you as yourself believe in, right? If you want something to get better, right? This is how it works in life. If something, for instance, what's happening to Bungie right now, right? There's a certain amount of people that love Bungie, and there's a certain amount of people that don't like Bungie. When you have the people that love Bungie start to shift to the I don't like Bungie side, they start voting with their wallets. And when they start voting with their wallets, changes happen, right? So right now, if you're a person that likes Ubisoft and you want to continue liking Ubisoft, then continue supporting Ubisoft. But the majority of the people that want to stop supporting Ubisoft because they want to make a change, they make that change because they vote with their wallets. So if you want to play the game, then continue playing the game. Like if you want to buy something from this publisher because your urge to play the game is more than what you want to happen. You see what I'm saying? Like, so things only get better if we criticize it and they learn the lesson. If they don't learn the lesson, then things continue happening. Right now, Ubisoft hasn't learned their lesson yet, in my opinion. They haven't learned their lesson yet. They're in the middle of that process of learning their lesson. Hence why they've changed Division 2. Hence why they've made the remake or remastered of Black Flag. Hence why they're not doing as much as live service games anymore. They're in the process of making that change. I'm not rewarding them. But you're not me. Sarge is not me, right? So, like, everyone's their individual. If you want to play the game and support a company that still plays the game, then do you. Altar says, I'm ready for it, but no day one. Travis says, oh no, you can, but some games are factually not for everyone, like certain games that pay for Game of the Year. No game, zero game is meant for everyone. Even when a game is so popular, super popular, and tens and 15 millions of people, 20 million people, Grand Theft Auto, which has got like 200 million copies sold or whatever it is, even that game is not for everybody. So your statement of That game's not, I like this game, that game's not for everybody. All games are not meant for everybody. Mr. Z says, loved Elden Ring. Didn't finish it, though. It came out today. I would not buy it or play it. I have found my niche with a couple of play styles that I'm completely happy and stay in my lane. I'm right there with you, Z. I haven't completed Elden Ring. Still love it, though. Still had a blast playing that game. Never finished it. And never will. I'll be honest with you. I never will. Kylo says, yeah, I liked Unity way better than Black Flag, the other game. Unity, is that the one? We always have this conversation, and I got COVID brain. Is Unity the one that was in London? Or was it what's the one that was in London that was super glitchy? Was it Unity? That's the one that broke it for me. Whatever the one that was in London, that's the one that broke it for me. Unity is the Revolutionary War, right? I don't know. Syndicate. That's it, Titan. That's the one that broke it for me. When Syndicate came out, that's when I was like, I'm done. Was it France? That's it. Not London. No, Syndicate's in London, right? Yeah, I could have sworn Syndicate's in London. AC Unity was Paris. I don't know. Yeah, Syndicate's the one that was super, super glitchy. I keep confusing Unity and Syndicate. This is why I say the place. The one that was in London, not France. Am I confusing that? I'm trying to remember which. You know what? I'm just going to turn on my Xbox and I'll show you or I'll look it up real fast. Because there was one that I played, and I played it for like, it was so broken, glitchy. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Let me see which one I own. Full library. Okay. Syndicate. It's Syndicate. Yeah. Is Syndicate is in London. Yes. That's the one. That's the one that was so bad when it launched. I was like, yeah, no. That's what broke me. So what year was that? I was like, I am not rewarding these people with any money anymore. Division 2 is the last one. Division 2 is the last game I really, really enjoyed. And that came out in 2016, right? Or was it? Yeah, 2016. 2017 is when Division 2 came out. Jesse Max says, yeah, Syndicate was in London and Unity was in France. No, we haven't gone down the rabbit hole yet. No rabbit hole yet, Altern. I'll let you know when we start throwing down the rabbit hole. We're still in the grassy field. We're talking about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed in general. We haven't gone down the rabbit hole yet. So this makes sense, right? When did Division 1 come out? Division 1 came out. Let me see. Release date for Division 1. No, Division came out in 2016. Okay, so this is the timeline of where they kind of destroyed it for me, right? So I got that. I played Syndicate. I was like, what the hell is this? This is garbage, right? Then I played Division. Love Division. The base game of Division I absolutely loved. Okay. But then their DLC, their roadmap type of stuff, it irked me. I was like, I had regrets. I usually don't have regrets of playing video games. I mean, I've bought some shitty video games in my past, but I regretted the live service type of stuff, right? And I was like, I'm done. Then Division 2 came out 2 years, 3 years later, and I was like, you know what? This looks good. Didn't buy it day one. Waited for reviews. Got it. Loved Division 2, but then they fucked it up as well. Since then, I was like, I'm not buying any Ubisoft games anymore. No Ubisoft. No purchase. No bueno. We play them. Play a lot of Ubisoft games, right? My son plays Ride Republic. We played Star Wars Outlaws, but we didn't purchase any of these games. We're playing them on live service, the platforms of Game Pass or whatever else. Eclipse says, yeah, that's the one with the twins. Both of Unity and Syndicate was broken as once. AC Rogue came out in 2014 too. A lot of AC. There's been look at this. Look how many Assassin's Creed games we go here. Let me bring them up. No. Where is it? Here? No, that's me. For God's sakes. Do I not have it? We do not have an Xbox. I can't show you. That's poll. Display capture. Device. No, I can't show you. Well, oh wait, I can if I do this. And then go down to... What is happening here? How come I can't show you the... There we go. There we go. Look at how many Assassin's Creed games there are. Look at them all. I mean, this is on the full library. It's on cloud, right? Look at them all. There's so many of them. And that's not even including like the original ones. Right? Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Odyssey, Origins, Syndicate, Unity, Valhalla, Chronicles India, Chronicles Russia, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection, right? Rogue One Remastered. Like, bro, there's so many. Best streamer on Monday. It's always a professional show. All right, Z. All right. You want to do what I do? Come on. I got, regardless of all the stuff that's in front of me right now, do you know how much stuff is going in my brain? My brain is constantly. Like, I'm thinking about what I'm doing afterwards. I'm already thinking about going down the rabbit hole for Altern. I'm also thinking about what I want to do in Windrose. I'm also want to go play, Crimson Desert. I'm also have to, stuff around the house that I got to do. All that's happening right now. Squirrel. Titan says, actually, more with remaster than OG console. The Assassin's Creed Extraction shooter is next. They probably already been working on it, Ron. I'll be honest with you. They're probably working on it right now. All right, let's move on from Ubisoft to the next story, which is Yoshida, which you can't see. I don't know why. There he goes. Give me 1 second. The cows are calling. I was like, what? Hay's getting delivered. All right. Assassin's Creed Gacha should be the next live service. Assassin's Creed Templar with engaging story and since winning formula. You see all the games that are switching from... the other day, I saw a news article about a gacha game. I don't know the game's name, but it's a gacha game that is now switching to single player. Like, we're back in the right timeline. I know that. Right? A gacha game converting to a single player game. Right? You got Wayfinder, which was an MMO, turned to single player. You got Crimson Desert, which was an MMO from Pearl Abyss, from a gacha, basically, from Black Desert Online into a single player game. Okay? We have Windrose, which is an MMO that turned into a single player game. Like, there was a time that our world, I don't know if the particle collider happened. We're going down the rabbit hole right now, Altern. Right? I don't know if the particle collider happened and it shifted timelines or whatever happened, but I think we're almost close back into the regular timeline of Earth again. Okay, we're living in a place where MMOs, live service games, and gacha games are now turning into single player games. When I was at Disney World this weekend, right? What's going on, Dolphin? When I was at Disney World this weekend, for the last 3-4 years, they switched boys and girls, right? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome, to Magic Kingdom. And they switched it to whatever the fuck they switched it to. And now they switched it back to ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, right? Like, it shifted back into the right timeline. I don't know if the world's healing or if we're just back in the same place. There's still some fuck up things, right? It's like the Mandela effect happening. But it looks like we're back in the right timeline for some things. It's just weird in video games that live service games are turning to single-player games, and MMOs are turning to single-player games, and gacha games are turning to single-player games. More co-op games and PvE games are coming out. It's like, all right. Companies tried too hard and they realized they fucked up, or did they? There's still a couple out there. Roic says, did you see that People Can Fly bought their own publishing company? So that could be good news for Outriders too, if they can get from Sony. Right, as long as they still own Outriders. Right? As long as they still own Outriders. Cats and dogs living together. It's mass hysteria. All right. So Yoshida shuts down PlayStation purists and insists that both ports never hurt PlayStation 5 sales, but funded the next blockbuster. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We just go over a few of the top stories, or a few stories, I should say, not top stories. A few of the stories, give you my thoughts and opinions, read it for the first time on stream, and then we get your thoughts and opinions in the live chat. If you're here in the live chat, this is your first time here, we just have conversations. This is not one of those places where we have debate and we all get arguing and we go back and forth and right? It's just covering news stories, just getting you through a couple hours of your day, have a conversation like you were having with your buds and stuff inside your house, right? So if you like it, hit that like button. All right, so Yoshida shuts down the PlayStation purists, insists that the ports have never hurt PlayStation 5 sales, but funded the next blockbuster. So until the PlayStation 5 era, Sony's strategy was focused on delivering first-party games that stayed on the console to drive hardware sales. However, in the new interview with Back Pocket, conducted during Alt Games, there was also details of his 11-year PlayStation studio run ended with Jim Ryan's firing him. Former PlayStation executive Yoshida revealed that the change in strategy was essentially forced by increasing the AAA budget and actually helped and developed of all the first-party titles. He says, quote, when I was working in the game development side, first-party and PlayStation from the strategy standpoint, we are not allowed to bring our AAA games to other platforms like PC, Yoshida admitted. He says, as production costs increased over the last 5 years, the exclusive-only model became unsustainable. According to Yoshida, the scale of investment in modern titles grew so large that publishers realized the console install base alone could no longer support the risk. Now, obviously, the console install base, this is the thing I always talked about that you guys, not all of you, when I say you guys, I'm being very generalistic here, but a lot of you guys don't understand that. So when you guys argue with me and say, well, console sales are going up, there's more people playing consoles. That is a false statement. There is less than 200 million people that own a console. Less than 200 million people own a console. Okay? Meaning the people that do own consoles, that seems like there's more consoles out there than everything, is because you own more than one console. Like I own a PlayStation, I own an Xbox, I own a Nintendo. So I'm 3 of those things of the total market of 250 million that own a console. Many of you also own multiple consoles, right? So the player base is this finite, and it's always been around 150 to 200 million players. The only person that figured it out in a small amount of time was Nintendo, okay, with the 155. Now, obviously, PlayStation 2 is up there, okay, but it's over almost double the amount of time as Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch 2 probably won't beat the Switch 1, but the Switch, okay, is up there like 155, 158 million, okay. Will it beat PlayStation? I don't know. But in the amount of time it was out, Like, it could. But there's a finite amount of console in base. So releasing games on PC after a couple of years must have helped recoup the investment of these big budget games and help the team and the company reinvest the money into their new games, he noted. He said, while some hardware purists argue that PC ports devalue the PlayStation brand, Yoshida dismissed these concerns as complaints of a vocal minority. That's right. The vocal minority. These are what we call the Sony ponies or the Xbots. Okay, these are the people that love sleeping with their plastic boxes in their bed and they have it next to them and they're like, oh, I love you, right? That's what the vocal minority is of this. Because everybody else that's just playing video games and stuff can see this and go, yeah, that's exactly right. Right? So I do not think, he says, that really affected the adoption of the PlayStation hardware like the PlayStation 5 in any way, he said. As releasing the PlayStation first-party games on PC essentially became a necessity, and rumor pivoted back to console-exclusive games sound risky. He says, I'm not seeing any proof of them changing their strategy in this generation. But if they are changing, it's going to be interesting to see how they are able to maintain the investment of one big budget games on the first-party side going forward, Yoshida said. All right, now, obviously, he's not at the company now. He doesn't know their insides. Maybe he makes a phone call and is like, hey, what's going on? And like, oh, yeah, we're doing this, right? But this is just him being at the company for so many years and going, yeah, the costs are so high for these games. Unless something happens, and again, PlayStation is making changes, okay? You either adapt or die. They are making changes because they are getting rid of a lot of they canceled 12 live service games. 12, okay? There's still a couple coming out. Fairgames, it's going to bomb. It's not going to bomb. It's going to bomb, okay? So that's going to come out. That's going to be a laughing stock of the industry again. But they've made the change already. They're like, we've canceled all these games. Right? You see everything healing. A lot of games that were MMOs, multiplayer games are switching over to single player, not microtransaction, just single player games. Behind the scenes, PlayStation's trying to do something. Maybe they're putting towards, but the problem is the budget. If God of War, the next God of War comes out and it's $250, $300 million, guess what? They're going to have to move that to the PC port down the road because they need to pay for the budget down the road. Okay, if their first-party games come out, right, and I know someone's going to bring up, what about Yote? Give it 2 years. We'll see what happens. Okay, if they put it over there. Okay, but he's saying that there's not going to be any change. He doesn't see any evidence whatsoever that the first-party side is not going to come to PC down the road. He says, with development costs likely not getting any smaller for the next generation of consoles, such as PlayStation 6, it'll be very interesting to see whether or not the first-party titles will be affected by Sony's rumored return to console exclusives. Now, I think they do exclusives, but timed exclusives, like they've been doing, okay? Which is not anything different they've done. Just the window has gotten smaller, right? We've always said day and date will happen on PC and PlayStation, which it happened over the years with the live service games. Now, with the first-party games, are they going to go day and date? They could. It all depends on what their budget is for these games that are coming out. Okay, but they don't want to show it their hand ahead of time because obviously they're still trying to sell consoles. Okay, they're affected by Sony's rumored return to console exclusives. Yoshida can suggest that games like Ghost of Yote and soon to be released Soros, okay, both on no PC port in sight, seem to have an unaffected in terms of scope for their respective genre. But it remains to be seen how their also ballooning development budgets will be also managed alongside players' expectations and extra revenue PC ports bring. Okay, so is Sony going to keep bringing their games to PC? I believe so. Right? I know Jason Schreier said that they're getting rid of it, but they could be just changing their plan. They could be adapting their plan. Instead of going to Steam, they might have their own launcher. We've talked in the past, right? PlayStation might have their own launcher. Now, it is going to be hard because there's going to be a lot of people, right? There's going to be a lot of people that are purists, that are PlayStation guys. They're like, why would they go to PC to play PlayStation games? They wouldn't because they hate PCs because they're purists of Sony, right? But the people that are on the PC also don't like going to other launchers. They don't like going to Epic, right? They like Steam. So if PlayStation has their own launcher, like every other launcher, like, Blizzard and Epic and who else? There's like multiple. Minecraft's got their own launcher. A lot of people don't like going to their other launcher. They like sitting on what they have. So it'll be very interesting to see if PlayStation they just remove it from Steam, but they have their own launcher and they start putting it on their launcher themselves. It'd be very interesting to see how many people that are PC users will come over to the launcher. Now, it would make sense if it's day and date, it's on the PlayStation, and it's also on their launcher, day and date on PC, which would be day and date on PC, and then it comes to Steam at a later date, like it is right now. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think? Do you think Sony, as Yoshida says, he says, I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. I think they're still going to go to PC, right? Jason Schreier says they're going to back it off of the actual thing from a couple of months ago. No evidence of this and whatsoever, right? He's just saying that he heard a rumor. So if they have their launcher, which is also rumored, this might be the thing. They might be taking their launcher, put it on PC, and then they might do day and date on PC, but with their launcher. Again, just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. A clip says, all it shows is that your console has to bring something besides exclusives. Switch is the handheld. This is why a lot of people bought it. PlayStation 2 has the cheapest DVD player you can also get. Also, the PlayStation 3 was the cheapest Blu-ray player. That's why that sold. And it was the worst selling console they've had. Have you watched the Laura Fryer Fairgames? She's cracking jokes now. I have not. I have not seen it. Maybe we'll watch that later. Right? We have a video we're going to watch of Arrowhead. Maybe if we have time, we'll watch that one. What's going on, Roadkill? Roadkill says, PlayStation never going to go day and date. Here, Roadkill hasn't learned his lesson. Talking in absolutes here. Never. Take a screenshot, chat. Take a screenshot, mark it on here. Roadkill said, never going to go day and date. We'll see. Never say never. Roadkill says, but their thing is PlayStation has the games to bring people to their launcher. So wait a minute. So here you said never going day and date, and here you said PlayStation has games to bring people to their launcher. So if their launcher is on PC and they're never coming day and date to PC, man, okay. Jesse says, Yoshida is half right about this, but looking to the other side, PlayStation ports from the PC like Spider-Man 2, etc., ports was buggy, broken, and unable to run properly due to ports to PC. Aku says, Sony has no business running a launcher with how bad their internet security is. They also have a launcher. They are going to get hacked 10 times more. Well, that's fine. We'll just make more songs about it, Aku. But they're probably making, there's been reports of them making their own launcher, right? Again, rumored. We don't know. It would make sense if they're making their launcher, though, that if they have their launcher, that they would put their games day and date on PC so they could recoup the cost of the actual expensive single-player games. Ray says, Sony is all subscription-based, like Microsoft. Music, games, movies, and anime. Shh. No. Shh. Quiet, Ray. People don't know that. Don't pull the curtain back and see the wizard. Ray also says Sony lost everything. They even lost Apple. How much money Sony lost? They sold billions of camera modules. They're adapting. Ray. Businesses have to adapt. You got to remember, if they don't adapt, then they're dead. I don't think Sony's I don't think they're in trouble yet. I don't think they're in trouble at all at the moment. I think they're adapting, and I think if you adapt, you'll be okay. Going from that, this is just a public service announcement. Maybe some of you guys don't read the news every day. You come here for the news, so I'm going to give you the news of another Sony, right? Which sparks a little controversy here because this is a big topic for a lot of people. Okay. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay, so PlayStation DRM bug sparks fears over digital game access. Now, PlayStation DRM issue has popped up over some players, making them worried about the status of their digital purchases. I don't know if you know this, but there's our people out there that lose things because they don't own and they have everything digital and they have been taken away from things. Okay. According to some players on social media, they've noticed a timer in their digital games that require them to check in and activate internet connection every 30 days to keep the license active. Okay. According to a video from Modded Warfare, the issue occurs if you're running at the latest 13.5 firmware for console. Okay. It says the story really gained traction following a tweet from Manfight Dragon reading hugely terrible DRM that has now been rolled out to all PlayStation 4s and PlayStation 5 digital games. Every digital game you buy now requires an online check-in every 30 days. If you buy a digital game and don't connect your console to the internet for 30 days, your license will be removed. Now, if this is true, this is terrible. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm not going to tell you it's true. Okay. It says the PlayStation 5 DRM issue may be unintentional bug. Unintentional. Sort of like those other things that happen when they're like, oh, no, we didn't mean to raise the price. And then they come back and go, oh, that was just an error. That was just an error. And then they change the price back, right? And then they raise the price eight months later. And I'm not saying that's a Sony thing. That's an industry thing, okay? So the PlayStation 5 DRM issue may be an unintentional bug. According to Doesn't Play One, the DRM issue is unintentional. Unintentional. I have a question. If it's unintentional, then why is it on there? Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's just a test, why is it on there in the first place? Obviously, it's somewhere down the line, it's intentional. It's not just by accident someone coded it into the thing and was like, oh, I'm just going to put this here because we're not going to use it. It's unintentional, but we're going to put it there, right? The claim you have received word from the anonymous insider that Sony accidentally broke something while fixing an exploit. They know about the confusing UI for a while, but it didn't see as an urgent, okay? So it says, for what it's worth, I checked my own PlayStation 5 to see if the issue is there. My system features the most up-to-date firmware, and the timer was not present for any game that also I checked, all of which was also purchased since March. The games I checked included Arc Raiders, WWE, Tomb Raider 1 and 2, 3, the latter of the PlayStation Plus library, while also writing this article. Inside Gaming has continued to monitor the story to report the updates for more PlayStation news. Check out the games that are also set to leave. PlayStation Plus is the month of May. So not everyone has this issue, but it is popped up. People have taken screenshots of it. It's there. It's not like it's there. It's not there. Okay. So it's literally on the thing for people, right? Valid period start, valid period ended, remaining time 20 days, right? This is just, it's not like it's for some like crazy popular game here. Okay. So this is a thing. Okay? It might be unintentional. It might be an error, a glitch, or whatever you want to call it. But they're still coded within the thing to tell you that the valid start date, the end date, and the remaining time, and then you have to check in. Now, you can protect Sony all you want, but why is this in the thing? Obviously, the DRM thing is there for a reason. I would assume, and again, I'm just assuming or speculating here, but if it's happening more for the PlayStation 4 than the PlayStation 5, is I would assume it's because of the 58% of the population still on PlayStation 4, and they're trying to remove those people from the PlayStation 4 so they can move on to the PlayStation 5. Now, some of you will be like, well, of course, they should abandon the PlayStation 4 and they should go over to PlayStation 5, which might be a thing, but I can go back and play all my old systems if I choose to, right? If I have those games, I should be able to play those games. This is what Stop Killing Games is all about, right? If you stop supporting it, but I want to still play it, I should be able to still play my game regardless if I own it digitally or physically. I should be able to still play my game. So this is a major problem. Now, this is just a glitch in the matrix per se, but at the same time, something's happening here, and it needs to be talked about, and this is why I bring it up, right? So if you're one of the people that has a digital game and it's not popping up anymore, or you says you have the 30 days, let me know. Let me know in the comments section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching. Mo says, this is actually to see how many people actually care. But that's just it. This is a perfect I watched a movie this weekend. I watched a movie this weekend. It's called The Rip with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Okay. A lot of businesses do this, Mo, where someone will say something to one person and then tell it to another person. And to find the leakers, to find the people that if I say something, I know that I only told this person. And if that gets out, right, this is like a sonar type of thing. This is a see a test type of thing where they put it out there, someone sees it, and they go, all right, well, how many people that have a PlayStation 4 are not active, right? How many people that haven't moved over from the PlayStation 4 over to the PlayStation 5? How many people? This is a test. This boom. This is a little radar. See how many fish are in the water. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is. This is a little tease out there to see who reacts to it or who doesn't react to it, and then go, oops, it's just a mistake. That's exactly what this is. And again, this is not a Sony thing. This is a actual industry-wide thing. Xbox does the exact same thing when they're like, we're not raising Game Pass, and then a couple years ago they raised it and went, oh no, it was a mistake, it was a glitch, and then 6 months later they raised the price anyway, right? This happens all the time. They're putting feeders out there. They're putting the keyword out there to see who reacts to it and who doesn't react to it. So they have a data point. So they go, oh, well, a percentage of the people, 58% people haven't moved over to PlayStation yet, PlayStation 5. And they're like, out of the 58% of the people that own a PlayStation 4, how many people are active that actually play games on the PlayStation 4? And they're like, oh, well, let's say it's like 15% of the people actually play, so the other 40% are kind of dead, and they're not playing PlayStation 4, so maybe they'll switch over. How do we incentivize them to move over, right? That's what this stuff is for this, right? Especially since the next PlayStation is to say and to sell you on the backwards compatibility of the 3 and the 4 and whatnot. So, again, bullshit on the, it's a glitch, it's a mistake. It's coded in there. They have this in there for a reason. They just didn't want to activate it, and by accident, someone activated it. Titan says, Sony used to do time demos for full games. Yeah, well, they do. Everyone does that. It's not a Sony thing. That's an industry-wide thing. Winrose just did that. They had a timer on Winrose to do the demo. Now, if you want to play it, you have to buy it. Hero says there needs to be laws in place for this shit. Well, that's what we're trying to do with Stop Killing Games, right? If it was Ubisoft, PlayStation fans wouldn't defend it. No, Ubisoft fans would. Yeah, Ubisoft fans would. I don't know how many Ubisoft fans are out there, but they're there. They're there. Jesse Mack says, I just checked my PlayStation 5 Pro. All my games information I don't have. I have it on all my games. Wait, games and the information, I don't have it on all my games. It's more of a PlayStation 4 thing than it is a PlayStation 5 thing. Justin Dove says, are they removing your license after 30 days or just revoking it? The article says they're removing it. Again, I don't know. I'm just putting this out there to let people know if it's happening to you, there it is. I'm sure we'll find out more down the road if something actually happens from this. Just in the article, it just says you're being removed. Let me find the spot again. It says, according to some players on social media, they've noticed a timer on the digital games requires them to check an active internet connection for 30 days to keep the license active. To keep their license active. To video of modded issue also occurs in the latest 13.5 console. It doesn't say they remove it. It just says keep it active. I would assume if it was just... Oh, no, here it says, if you buy a digital game and don't connect your console to the internet for 30 days, your license will be removed. Quote, will be removed. Right? Every digital game you buy now requires an online check-in every 30 days. If you buy a digital game and don't connect your console to the internet for 30 days, your license will be removed. Right, it's that checking in thing again, which is what Helldivers is doing, right? for their game. So we'll go to the next story. Roadkill says they don't remove your license. It's just not there until you plug your PlayStation back in. That's all. You do not know that for a fact. Roadkill. You do not know that for a fact. Again, and what they're saying is also not fact. Ray says you can reactivate it for surely. Again, I do know that. That's the fact. I did that research. Show me the article, and then I'll rate it on the air. Link me to an article that says what you said. That's came after this, because this came out yesterday, April 25th. So you know for a fact that what this is happening right now, that is being reported, you've already experienced, and there's already something that factually says something. Clip says, isn't it this the same thing when I don't have internet because I'm down on my luck right now? Internet not free? Well, no, you still own those games. The internet's not attached to... The internet's a separate thing that you pay for. But when you pay for your internet again, those things should still be there because you own the games. That's not what they're saying here for this thing. Kraken says, my decision to leave the console and move to PC continues to be vindicated. Dolphin says, it's the worthless game as a coaster story. Right. What was the game? I can't even think of it. Take-Two. I want to say Boundless, but Boundless is a game like Minecraft. I can't even think of it anymore. That's how important it is anymore. See? Out of sight, out of mind. Battleborn. Thank you, Travis. Battleborn. Just enough says they already do the checking in thing now for certain titles, but the timer is longer than 30 days, I think. Aku says 30 is aimed at removing all those IPs that Sony doesn't consider to be real anymore, like Killzone. I don't know if that's the reason behind it. Again, there should be no reason that's in there to be leaked by accident at all. Do you know what I mean? No reason. Because if I have protection as a customer, it doesn't matter if I check in for 20 days or 30 days or whatever. If it sits there dead for a year and a half and I decide that I want to play it, I should be able to play it because I own the game. You know what I mean? If they ever take that away from me, and again, it's not a Sony thing, this is a DRM thing. If they ever decide to take that away from me after I've purchased the actual thing, that is a fucking problem. Hero says Battleborn was the shit. People were so bad at it, it felt like a god. And I'm a casual. I liked Battleborn single player. It was hard as hell, and if you didn't beat it, like if you didn't complete the level, you lost all progress. And people were like, they should fix that. I didn't care for the MOBA, but the casual stuff I liked, like the single player casual stuff I liked, where you're like leveling up your characters overall. But then every time you did a round, it was like a roguelike because you were like making different builds for that run. It was actually really good. Hey, why is there an Order 66 inside the clone's head? Exactly right. That's what this is. Every PlayStation has a code in their head. Execute Order 66. It's like, just because I didn't play a game for 30 days, now I lose it completely? Now, what Roadkill is saying, that might be the thing. But what they're reporting from a day ago, these two things aren't connected by facts, right? Him saying that, oh yeah, after the day it works. I know because I've done the research. Great, that's before. This is reported now. Is the thing that you're talking about associated with this? When it does, let me know. Until then, I'm letting you people know. You people, that's right, you people, right? I'm letting you guys know that this is out there. So if it happens to you, just know that you're not alone. I didn't like the MOBA. That's why they shut it down. The MOBA was shit. That's why the game closed. The MOBA. Not because of the single player. All right. Let's watch this video. Okay. This is about Helldivers. I've never watched a video from this person before. His name is the Wise Guy Vito. He's got 4,630 subscribers. This video has been watched 21,000 times. Link in the description for his channel down below. If you like his video, you like his stuff, go give it a like. Go give it a sub. We're going to watch it here. We're going to see what he's talking about for the Helldivers stuff. Now, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, when I was on Lorno's podcast 2-3 years ago, when Helldivers, well, it was 2 years ago, when Helldivers first came out, Helldivers 2 first came out, it was like 2 weeks after the game came out. We were on a podcast and we talked about how good this game was when it came out and what it could be and where it could go. And basically everything I said in that podcast, okay, came to fruition with this game, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, all happened, right? Everything about that. If you guys go watch that podcast after this show, okay? It's about an hour and a half long podcast, I believe. It was like from 2 years ago, okay? Just type in Reforge and 30 talking about Helldivers 2, okay? We both made so many good points and so many things that happened to this game from when it launched to today that you would think were both Notre Dames, okay? So here we are today, where Helldivers 2 is again in its third lull of what's happening. So now the developers took a Ask Me Anything, and he's slowly asking the questions. And so we're going to watch this video, who's going over the questions and giving his thoughts, and then I'll give you my thoughts, and we'll have a little conversation about it. Aku says 30. I'm joking. Maybe. I think a better question is how is Sony, because Travis, PlayStation 5 to drop from the internet for 31 days so they can steal all his stuff. Well, that's a completely different thing. I know you're joking again, but that's a completely different thing why he got that taken away from him. So, all right.
Fellas, Palstat did an AMA on the Helldivers Unfiltered subreddit.
Oh, hold on a second. We're going to watch this at 1.25.
And it reads as so. Hey everyone, feels like there's so much hate, misinformation, and disappointment here. I understand you want Helldivers to be great, and you feel we fall short. So, my thinking...
Well, here's the thing. We, the people, only feel like you fall short because of the expectations that you put from 2 years ago in what you did to the game and what you're doing to the game over the last 2 years to up to this point, right? We only feel like you're short because you are short because of what you're doing, right?
Is let me hear your thoughts, questions, and concerns. I may not be able to answer all questions, but I will try my best. This will be a slow burn as I've got a busy day, but I'll get to your questions in time. Here's some rules to help you coordinate this. I will only answer top-rated questions commonly asked. I will not be able to comment on specific people in Airhead. I won't be able to answer things that puts us in a breach of the agreement with PlayStation, and even doing this is borderline. I will not engage with personal attacks. So, with that said, fire away. So, people then ask a bunch of questions, and to be perfect,
I'm going to put closed caption on so we can see what he's saying as well.
To be honest with you, a lot of his answers made me extremely worried for the game because it just really feels like that Palstat, or Airhead in particular, right, is really focusing on content. That's all they're focusing on is content. And I just think that this is really bad. Really, really bad.
They're focusing on content or they're focusing on war bonds? That content or content in the game? I'm a little confused here because the issue that people want is that they want more content in the game instead of doing the exact same thing over and over on the same planets. That's the sentiment of what people have a problem with, is like they're tired of doing the same planet stuff, right? So they gave more content. They gave new kind of like bad guys in the game, different missions to do inside the game. I think they've answered that question. I think they fulfilled that as Arrowhead, and I think they should do that, right? Because obviously you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, if that's the content this gentleman's talking about, right? Again, I don't know. I'm just reacting to what he's saying, okay? And I'm not defending Arrowhead in any way, shape, or form. It's just that other games, like Marvel's Avengers or Destiny or any other game that's a live service type of game, they're like, oh, still killing the same stuff over and over again. People get bored. So they try to, fix it. Now, the problem with this, I've talked about this in other games and other stuff in the past, is that when you... Destiny, best example, right? Or Division, best example. When you have 3 factions in the very beginning, and only 3 factions, okay? You constantly are playing 3 factions in the very beginning of the game, and you're like, oh, this is cool. It feels different. It's very good. You're killing different things. Same with Helldivers, right? You got the clankers, you got the bugs, you got the aliens, okay? So you have the 3 factions, like a Destiny, like everything else, okay? And it's cool because you're dabbling here, you dabble there, you dabble here, okay? But then when they add the new thing, everybody rushes to the new thing, right? And then you kind of kill it. Where if you, here's a food analogy. If I just put one type of thing on the table, you're gonna be like, I'm tired of that thing. But if I put an assortment of things, you have a bunch of leftover food afterwards because people were picking at the other things. But when you put that brand new thing on the table, they completely destroy it. That's the problem that Helldivers is having right now. They added stuff that they were asked for, but people are not happy with it because they devour it super fast.
That they're just focusing on content, not focusing on fixing the game, not focusing on...
They're not focusing on fixing the game. This is what I talked about last week when they added another war bond, and now they're asking for you to check in. I was like, how about you fix the game first?
Expansions of like the new systems and stuff like that. I think that one of the things that was kind of said yesterday, for example, was kind of like this was actually this question and Powestat's answer. Is discussions with armor customization on the table, mixing and matching perks, or at least transmog, weapon customization? Are you planning to go any deeper with it? I like the system, but it feels like it's bare bones with some weapons.
I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this for a second. Okay. In a discussion for armor customization on the table, mixing and matching perks, or at least transmog. Weapon customization are the plans to go deeper with it. I like the system, but I currently feel it's bare bones with some weapons. Like a lot more could be done with them. Or more different weapons that are also just modified versions of the older weapons be available through war bonds. Okay. Ship modules. It's been also well over a year since we also had any added. Any more being worked on. The game progression is 150 don't mean much 2+ years down the line. Many players like myself are way past that 1.2 million experience mark. Anyway, love the game. I just want to succeed to keep enjoying better experience. Here's the problem. I'm not even reading his thing yet. The small minority of the hardcore gamers are at 150, okay, and have 1.2 million experience mark. I would assume that we're talking about the 1% of the 1%. That's a lot of hours in the game. And sure, you see people in the game that are at the 150 and whatnot. Right? That doesn't mean anything, Craig. You could be at the 150. What I'm telling you is that's the majority. That's the minority, not the majority. Okay? Hence why they're not making content for you, and they're trying to figure out what they could do for the rest of the people to come back to the game. Hence why they did what they did, while having people check back in to get the war bonds. Because obviously, the 1%ers are going to come and play regardless because they love the game. They already have you, right? You probably paid for all the war bonds or earned all the war bonds, right? Now they're trying to get the other people to come in to get the war bonds, right? It says perks. I think we need to update the original direction as a system was exploded. It's also beyond what they originally intended, basically giving a small passive thematic to the armor. This is, however, a discussion not happening right now. Okay, weapon customization was deemed as not as significant in resolving the lack of progression, but I personally think we also just need more of it. But it currently down, period. Ship modules, big news in the future. Okay, big news in the future. Can't say more. Endgame, I hate when they do this stuff, right? Obviously, he can't announce it, but we did this with Marvel's Avengers. Big news, can't tell you anymore, and then nothing ever happens, right? Nothing ever happens from it. Right? Other games do this as well. It's coming, but they never say anything about it. Endgame, you sweet Endgame summer child. Okay, it says, but really, this is Achilles' heel. So many of you hardcore players want it, but it satisfies a small portion. Of course, they can't cater to the one percenters. They can't cater to the one percenters. You are starving lions, and every time they throw a piece of meat in there, you devour it up. They will never, ever satisfy the hunger that you want for the game. And this is not just Helldivers. This is any hardcore player in any game. You are never going to satisfy the hardcore gamer because they completely and utterly devour anything they do, right? The game has 100 hours. You put 100 hours in 1 week, and you're like, I want more. Meanwhile, the average person plays 4 hours a week. And that 100 hours will take them 6 months, okay? 6 months or longer to get to. But the one percenters, they devour that so fast that they can't make the game for you. They have to make the game for the group of people. But the vocal minority is the people that are the hardcore because they love the game so much, they're aggravated that they can't get what they want in the game. Okay? He says, but really, this is our Achilles heel, and so many of our hardcore players want it, but it satisfies a small portion of the player base, and we currently are focusing on a broader effect. There's also things in plans, but also there's some ways off. It really comes down to time, not enough time.
Like, a lot could be done with them, and different weapons that just modified versions of older weapons be available through war bonds. Ship modules, it's been a while, over a year.
Here's the problem, is that if they bring a transmog system into the game, how do you implement that in the game? You would have to monetize it. Because even if you gave free outfits out because of what you earned, which they do sometimes, right? They're like, oh, here's a cape or whatnot, right? You would have to monetize it because this is a live service game and they have to make money. Hence why they're putting mechs and stuff inside the game, which is sort of like pay to win. Still is the best system out there for games to give you where you can earn the currency in the game and still earn the stuff afterwards, but it's either money or time, obviously. But if they do a transmog system in here, they miss out on the money. And this is the problem with live service games, right? This is the problem with live service games. Let's take a quick example of Crimson Desert right now, right? Crimson Desert has all the outfits in the game. If you find it in the game, you can play it. Now, it's a single player game. It's not a live service game. But if it was a live service game like it was supposed to be, if it was supposed to be an MMO like it was supposed to be, then you would be grinding, super grindy to try to get those things, or you would pay $25, $30 for that thing. Okay? Now, Helldivers still does they still hold the line of the here's $10 for the war bond, take your time, get the stuff, never expires type of thing. Great. But if they put that transmog in there, okay, it changes the whole dynamic because they're like, well, how do we change stuff now? Right? And that's the crux of the problem for transmog, I would assume, behind the scenes.
In-game progression, 150, don't mean much, 2 years out, right? But many players like myself are way past the 1.2 million XP mark. And he says, anyway, love the game. I just want to see it succeed and have a better experience, right? And then Pilestat answers, basically, perks and transmog, this is a good answer, right? I think that we need to update our original system as it's been exploded. But the problem is, though, is that this is not being discussed right now. Again, this is a pain point that players have been asking for since...
The problem, Ray, is the two ones that are in the war bond are kind of pay to win. Because if you're a person that didn't buy the one from the ship that you can buy through the actual stuff, and you want the stuff that's in there, they're two separate mechs, right? They're not the same mech with a different variation of it. They're two separate mechs that are inside the thing. So sure, you could say they're not pay to win, and we've had this conversation, and we'll have this conversation nonstop to the end of time with Helldivers, because you're like, well, you can earn it for free. I know, I've never paid 1 cent except for the actual $40 for the actual game. Okay. But putting something behind a paywall to get that, when someone can just earn it right away in the game by doing a mission or something like that, would be considered a pay-to-win thing. Me and Kinger have had back and forth with this, right? It's still the best that we have, and yet you can earn the stuff in the game. But putting if they just kept it where it was earnable, the mechs specifically, on the ship, and you have to pay 25 grand to unlock that one or 30 grand to unlock the next one, that would have been fine. But now they started putting them inside the actual war bond, which I think they've stepped in it now. They've stepped in it. They've made their own problem. Now they have to try to figure out what the problem is.
I saw the transmog shit since the beginning of the game, like since the release of it, and people have been asking for transmog, and they're still not discussing it, right? Weapon customization apparently was deemed not as significant in resolving lack of progression, which I think is...
Again, Craig, you're coming from a spot, and I know it's hard to not show your love for the game, which is fine, but the people don't play like you. Do you understand? The casuals that they're trying to capture, the whole reason they want people to check back in is they're trying to capture those people. Right? They don't put as much time in as you do. So even if they pay the $10, they still have to put the time in for the war to get the medals so they can get the stuff, which they might not get. Right? So you're putting mechs behind a paywall now instead of mechs behind the time played where you can just purchase it on the ship.
I don't know how you can get that from that, like it's bare bones as is. So I don't know why the team, now Powellset disagrees with the team, by the way. But I personally feel like we just need more of it, which is true. We do need more of it. But the problem is that it's currently...
You're thinking pay to win as pay to win like you're playing against multiplayer. Again, I don't know what the mechs have. I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say sort of like the other things in the battle passes. I'm sorry, the war bonds. Where let's say the Tesla coil. Just giving an example. If the Tesla coil is more powerful against a certain faction, okay, and I can't use the Tesla coil unless I get the Tesla thing through the war bond, meaning now I have to pay for that war bond, then I have to get the Tesla coil, right? So I pay $10 because the Tesla coil is good against this faction. So now I'm playing by myself. I'm a solo player, or maybe I don't want to. Maybe I got into multiplayer and I kept getting kicked because I didn't have the right weapons. All right, bitch, people kick all the time. So now they use the Tesla coil. That would be a pay to win, because if I can't beat the board because of my skill gap or whatever else, but if I use this thing and it makes the game easier for me, that is pay to win, right? Not pay to win like life itself. Just I need this thing to help make the game easier for me, right? So now if we go to the mechs, okay, I don't have enough time inside the actual thing, but if I had this one mech and this one mech helps me with this faction or mission or whatever else, that would be a pay to win. You're looking at it as a pay to win as you're winning against somebody else. No, it's just win to win the game. To beat this thing, you need this thing to make it easier for you. It helps it much easier for you to beat it if you have this thing. That's the problem with it, right? Again, someone that's a level 150 doesn't understand the struggle of the person that's playing that doesn't have the time to put in like yourself. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you're saying, oh, well, it's not pay to win. For these people, and Arrowhead knows this, hence why they're trying to get the people to come back in. They're hemorrhaging player base. You are playing. Regardless of if you're upset or not, you're still playing. You are a hardcore player. They're not worried about you. You're going to be there.
Down prioed. It's low on the priority list to give more progression through weapon customization. Apparently ship modules are going to be a thing soon, so we'll have to see about that. And as far as in-game goes, apparently this is their Achilles heel. There's things planned, but the problem is that, and this sentence says it all, right? But they're some ways off. Because, again, they're focusing on content. For example, this question right here. If you can say, are there any current plans to expand upon progression systems, right? This is the main portion of this question here, right? Which is, hey, listen, we have weapon customization, we got the DSS, we got all these different things that just don't feel right now, and they feel terrible. So are there any plans on expanding all these things, right? And then Pilestat goes down here and he says there are multiple plans and discussions about improving the existing systems such as progression weapon systems and DSS. Unfortunately, we have been pushing hard to meet what we see as the expectation on content for each new big update, which unfortunately means the team is forced to down prioritize what we already have in favor of novelty.
Right. Here's the thing. Again, I'm speculating off of what he just said there, right? And we read it, and we'll read it again, right? Unfortunately, we have been pushing hard to see the expectations in the content for each new big update, which unfortunately means the team is forced to down prioritize what already have in favor of novelty. Novelty is the skins and stuff that you want, or the leveling of the guns, right? They've been told from the people that pay their checks that you need to have more content in the game, in this live service game, right? And you have to have a solid content thing about this. If you guys go watch the podcast that me and Lono did 2 years ago, on that podcast, I talk about what this company did and what they should continue doing. And I even talk about 3 years down the line, they're going to have problems if they keep putting weapons in there, okay, that make it easier for stuff, because then you're chasing the trend, you're chasing the power stuff. Where in the very beginning of this game, when they first came out, and they didn't tell you, but they're like, remember when we had to unlock the first mech? It was part of the campaign. It was part of the stuff inside the game. This was perfect for them because they didn't have to follow, hey, here's the roadmap, and the roadmap says we're going to get this. Or here's the war bond, and then in this war bond we have... No. They were like, hey, we're going to the ammunition depot, and we have to beat this. And if we get this, we unlock something, and then we get the thing. That was awesome. That was awesome when it happened. But now it's a game. Obviously, it's a game. But what they had in the beginning was this beautiful... dungeon master, like you're just playing the game, you're enjoying the game, the group of people, we need to take this planet over, we need to take this ammo depot over, we need to take this thing over so we can get this thing. Now they're just throwing those things in the war bonds. You understand the difference? Right? You understand the difference of what the game was 2 years ago and what it is today?
So what we already have right now, they're not going to focus on it because that's low priority. So we're going to focus on We're going to focus on new content. We're going to focus on new stuff. And sometimes that new stuff comes out busted. It comes out broken.
That's the biggest problem. 90% of the people just want the game to work. That's what they want them to fix. Stop adding stuff. Stop men in blacking us, right? And saying, oh, here we have this thing, flash, flash. Oh, by the way, the hit detection is still bad. Oh, it still crashes. It still stutters, right? We're not fixing that. But here's the 2 new mechs in the war bond.
Comes out buggy. So again, I don't understand why they're in this mindset of hyper focusing on content. Because I know why. Because it makes them money.
Yes, corporate salute makes the money. That's exactly right. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. In the beginning, it was fun because they're like, oh, look at all these people playing. It was awesome. It was awesome when they were like, oh, we're getting the tank, we're getting the mech, we're doing this. It was part of the actual events that we were doing.
Right? It does make them money. But the problem is that I kind of see war bonds at this point as pump and dump schemes. It's just short-term gain. Like that's all that it is. But if you really wanted to cultivate a player base, you almost have to act like the game is like a Roth or a Roth IRA or a 401k. You have to invest in these systems to keep players longer because if you treat your player base right, then they'll spend money. It's
if you make a game and sell a game, this is the problem when a company is trying to satisfy both sides, right? They want the player base, but they also want the money. What they don't understand is if you just make the game, right? And let's be honest, this game has made way more money than it has ever thought it was going to make. It was super popular, still is. Okay, they're making tons of money, but now the number hit, right? So last year, let's say, and again, I'm just speculating. Last year, because they don't share these numbers. Let's say last year it made $100 million, right? Well, how do you keep that $100 million? Because now this year they're projected to make $120 million. Okay, and how do they make $120 million? Well, they gotta incentivize you to charge and make stuff. Hence why more war bonds are coming out, right? Instead of more people in the player base just playing because the game's fun and they spend the money because they're having fun, they're trying to entice you to come back to play the game, and that's what it is.
It's just really like a kick in the balls. Like I don't know how to really say it. Like it really is. Buzz Lightyear, by the way, he posted a really good question here, right? He talks about like how bleed damage and chest hemorrhaging was buffed by 10 times.
All right, what is this? Buzz Lightyear. It says, we love Helldivers 2. Not only is the chaos, but be able to deliver, but also because of Arrowhead, the anti-live service game. Right. The game also steady injection of pay war bonds, major story arc changes, and interactive community events with powerful rewards we could earn. There was also a push led by the studio to expand in the in-game system to effort to broaden the overall experience when playing Helldivers 2. That was year one. This is exactly what I just said. Right? Year one was this organic, beautiful thing. Okay? And now they've been gamified. Corporate's behind their ass going, well, we need this number to go up. Right? So since then, the proverbial well dried up. Tier 5 ship upgrades were introduced in July of 2024. The still unfinished weapon customization system arrived in May of 2025. The last time we saw were challenged during the actual major war, award a stratagem, was March of 2025. Instead of meaningful features and expanding the game, we've been met with the steady barrage of paid content. Worse still, Arrowhead has fallen into the cycle of fixing long-standing issues only when met with paid content releases, i.e. creating the problem, then selling us the solution. Let me explain. God, I talk about this stuff all the time, right? Just make the problem, sell the solution all the time, right? Bleed damage and chest hemorrhaging was buffed by 10 times. We get the Force of Law war bond with also ballistic padding, passive, and counter those changes. Okay, it says players were also long requesting sweeping changes of ragdolling because it was out of control instead of sold by Python Commando's war bond, which the rock solid passive, which is still not very effective. Players wanted more build flexibility for melee instead of being locked into a few armor sets. They were granted that, but only when the Siegebreaker's war bond was released, which has happened, and also Thor's hammer as a stratagem. Okay, it says suppressors were also broken the second they were released in ODST Warbond. It took hundreds of posts and comments along with 149 days of waiting before they were finally fixed just before the paid redacted regime Warbond was released. Fire was also been in a rough spot for a long time, and players also have wanted a slow/stun effect, but it was not introduced until we were also offered the enriched or entrenched Division Warbond. And now, here we are. Within a few days of the Exo Experts Warbond release, mechs and Helldiver armor vehicles, ballistic shields, and turrets have been made paper ever since the changes in the studio were made prior to the unrivaling of this cyberstand. Specifically for mechs, they were weakened in late December of 2024, patch reducing their leg and armor. Of course, we also get the official announcement yesterday that the mechs will be receiving buffs right along with the paid Warbond release. As you see, this is more of an isolated incident. It's a pattern. And one of the old Arrowhead stood very much against when Jonathan Arrowhead and Helldivers 2 get back to slightly odd rebellion group of developers zigged for everyone else's zagged, creating problems, alienating large sections of your devoted player base, and when only fixing issues and paid content is not what you guys are about. That's AAA monetized till the game dies corporate BS. Okay, this has always been very long-winded way of getting my quest on. Okay, he says even at this late hour, with Arrowhead commitment to delaying the Exo Experts Warbond, pulling the mechs out and restructuring it to be in line with what majority of the players are wanting. Armor vehicles belong to the MO and used as rewards for going ham against the factions. Also, Also, will you hand down the team's directive to stop with the fixes/solutions being sold back to us only through paid content? And finally, is there feedback or solutions you would also take from a player or players who would initiate a pause in the current direction and the content and the team is working on? We want to help you and help ourselves, but we don't populate the normal echo chambers, sodium, like the low sodium channels. Okay, there's a ton of highly experienced players out there in the unified channels that also love the game. We're expressing ourselves, but in our case, the feedback falls in and perceives as deaf ears. I appreciate that you stop of the normal avenues and meet us in the area. So you go. That's from Buzz Lightyear.
times they would get the Force of
If
Law
he reads,
Warbond
I'll
as like a
fast forward
band-aid
a little
fix, right? He talks about how, ragdolling is still excessive, but instead of actually fixing ragdolling, you just sell us a Warbond Python.
Okay, so he's just reading. I didn't know he was going to read
to be in line with the majority of the players. Again,
Okay, well, we'll fast forward this.
a directive to stop with the fixes / solutions is you in turn help ourselves, but we don't want to populate the normal echo chamber sodium.
Yeah.
But the majority of players don't want that, right? Like, of course, we would want Airhead to walk and chew gum at the same time. That's like the best case scenario. But Airhead has proven time and time again that they can't do that. They can't do two things at the same time.
Well, they've also been on record saying it's hard for them to work with the engine because it's an outdated engine it's not supported anymore.
Same time, they're either doing one or the other. And what the game severely needs right now, and I think that this is going to lead to like an escalation of Freedom 2.0, is that if they don't change the tracks now, we're going to see something really bad happen in the summertime. Just end of story. It will happen. Or maybe even this Tuesday. We don't know how they're going to buff mechs. And if they turn out to buff mechs in a really bad way, and monkey paw stuff, and maybe not even buff some of the other things that were affected to vehicles, then we're going to see Escalation of Freedom 2.0, and it's not going to be good for the player base. It just won't be. And Pilestat answers here. He says, hey, this is a great post and question, and there's so much to digest. I want to address the points that you've made about the Warbond plus balance fixes. I think this is an unfortunate consequence of
This is him answering Buzz Lightyear?
when we push for a Warbond. We review all the issues associated with balancing. Remember when we did a nerf to fire just in time for a Warbond release with fire-themed weapons? ? Yeah, that really hit us hard, and we sort of said that whenever a Warbond is released, we would ensure that the items in it and associated mechanics are up to scratch. I mean, yeah, they should always be, but So this...
Yeah, but that's admitting that you are putting in the stuff that needs fixes in the Warbond to sell the Warbond, right?
Then, in turn, has made us hone in on the theme of a Warbond. So we are working on the stealth Warbond. We make sure that we focus testing and balancing on stealth fixes and balancing. Now,
but the problem is, like Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear said in his post, it was over a year for things to be fixed. Not until they remember that time where it was like I want to say it was like 9 weeks where they said we're not doing anything. We're just gonna fix and work on the game, right? They didn't do anything for like a really long time. And we were like, yeah, okay, great. And then they did that big update and they put it in there. And then there was like no Warbonds, there was no nothing. And then all of a sudden now there's Warbond. But the fixes are fixed only when the Warbond comes out, not when the actual thing comes out. So by default, you look at that and go, oh, well, they're not going to fix it until a Warbond comes out. And when the Warbond comes out, now the thing is fixed. But to get that fix, it's like the things that you need now are inside the Warbond.
I will say this right now, okay? I'm going to say this 100%. Whenever he mentions stealth here, I don't think it's a good example because, again, suppressors were seen as working as intended, I want to say a month and a half before Redacted Regiment came out, which is stupid, okay? Your team felt like that they were working as intended beforehand.
Right.
And it just so happened right before Redacted Regiment came out, and...
Right. Your team thought it was fine, but only right before the Warbond came out did you fix it.
The quote-unquote intended was not actually intended, right? So which one is it, right?
Exactly.
What was stealth not good before, or was stealth working?
Right. What was it where it was supposed to be, or was it now supposed to be where it was when you put it in when the Warbond came out?
As intended before, because from what Nicholas said is that it was working before, and like here's the clip of it.
You asked us to get back.
Is that as loud as it can get?
With you on the question of silencers working as intended. So I'm asking, are silencers working as intended? Will we get silencers that work like the game silencers?
So they're actually pretty much where they
So the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, right? This guy that works there is saying, yeah, they're right where they're supposed to be.
should be at the moment. In the latest patch, we got some functionality in where if you, for example, you use a suppressed weapons and you miss the enemy, they don't immediately react, which I'm not sure if we mentioned that actually.
So again, what happened?
Right. And again, people can protect the thing they like, but when a developer comes out and says, no, they're perfectly in line where they're supposed to be, and then after that, fix it in time for a Warbond.
Happen. He goes on here and says, in a perfect world, this would be disconnected, but we also have learned that it doesn't work when it's in a spotlight, it will, reasonably so, create disappointment. But, point taken, we will discuss with the team. So, to your questions. No, we will not be pulling the megs from the war bond. You can still grind and purchase each war bond, and we see through the data that most do. Our rule that we shouldn't have things to be necessary to play, and
I just hope it doesn't come out. I don't think they've changed it. I just hope it doesn't come out that they've changed the percentage of coins dropping on the map, like credits on the map. If it comes out, if someone data mines something, it's like, oh yeah, they changed the percentage of credits that drop on the map now. Because obviously everyone knows that you go down to level 1, 2, or 3 to grind the stuff, right? Money or time. What do you want to do? Pay $10 or grind to get the credits? You know what I mean?
war bonds, and neither of the mechs is. I know we have slipped up a couple times, and please call us out. This is a bad statement, okay? This is a really bad statement. This basically means, right, if it's not necessary for play, they will never put things in like an MO reward. Ever. They won't do it. They won't do it. This is a very, very bad.
My problem is, and I've said this from the very beginning, they went down the rabbit hole when they started putting gear inside the war bonds instead of just cosmetics. They should have kept it as cosmetics. Obviously, in the very beginning, they gave you the war bond, the free one or whatever. But all the stuff afterwards, it should have just been cosmetic. That's it. It should have just been cosmetic. If you wanted that cool looking outfit, doesn't change anything about the gun itself. The guns itself, leveling up the guns should be in the game. But if you want the cosmetic or the armor set that looks, no perks on the armor, just transmog type of stuff inside the war bond, no one would have a problem with any of this.
Statement, okay? He goes on and says, I will discuss with the team and see what approach to
But that ship has sailed, by the way. That ship has sailed.
take. I think this comes down to solving the core issue rather than limiting it to what kind of perks and content is released, and ensuring that there are ways to play around it. I think this AMA has opened my eyes, and it has my hope, to the grievances that you have, and I understand that behind harsh criticism, name-calling, and other things, there is frustration stemming from the love of the game. And the feeling that it being mismanaged, the reason why I wanted to do this AMA is that I was so frustrated, and it really hurt seeing a project born out of the love for players, creating the belief that we at Arrowhead are more focused on value extraction than on making the best game possible.
So I'm gonna read that again, right? He says, I think the AMA has opened my eyes, and it was my hope to the grievance that you have. I understand behind the harsh criticism, name calling, and other things, yet don't worry about the name calling, right? Like, just remove the name calling. If someone tells you you're a fucking idiot, you didn't fix the thing, just tune that out. What they're trying to tell you in the criticism. Some people just don't know how to give criticism without cursing or belittling you or whatever. But if you just take the criticism that people are giving you, okay, that this is broken, here's why it's broke, because that's what they give you. They give you your most passionate fans that want the game to work properly, give you the harshest criticism because they love your game so much they want the game to succeed. Okay, so he says, frustrating seeming the love of the game, and I'm feeling that the beginning mismanaged. All right, the reason why I want to do the AMA is that I was so frustrated. Now he's frustrated, right? And it really hurts seeing the project born out of love for players. Again, when the game first came out, they didn't expect as many people loving the game. They thought it was going to be a fraction of what they got, and they exploded. So now that's on a separate scale. Okay, now you have way more people that love your game, giving you way more feedback about how the game should be made. Okay. He says the belief also Arrowhead has more focus on the value extraction than on making the best game possible. Well, actions are louder than words. And the actions that you're doing based on what Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear's post was, is that if it's true or not, the stuff that needs fixed in the game doesn't get fixed unless a war bond comes in. So if you needed a buff on something, they buffed it, but now it's associated with the thing inside the war bond. Okay? That is a problem, right? Regardless, if you're focused value extraction on making best game possible, you're still trying to make the best game possible, but you're also monetizing the things.
I think my biggest takeaway here is that so many valuable points, but since much of it is worded so harshly. There are so many conspiracies. For instance, the team being of 130 plus in Stockholm has been in the game. This subreddit is discounted as being too fringed. But engaging with y'all, I hope proves that it's just hardcore players. And
take Helldivers out of this for a second, right? Take this director out of this for a second. Just that wording, okay? Again, taking the not just focusing on what he said, him personally, but this is the problem with Tim Kaine has said this. Other people, like Mark Daria has said this, right? Tell us what you want, but don't tell us what you like. Tell us what you like. Don't tell us what you don't like, right? Like, so he says, my biggest takeaway here is that there's so many valuable points, but since there's words worded so harshly, they can't break themselves away from the person insulting them and then giving them the whole, like, what they should fix. They're fixated on the thing that's the insult ahead of time instead of going, this person, okay, you got to remember the people that you're making games for are people that don't have a lot of social skills. A lot of people that are playing video games are introverts. They're at home. They've never go outside and actually talk to people. They only talk to people on the internet. And since the internet, since they've been born, has taught them that they can just say whatever the fuck they want, okay, there's no repercussions from this. These people also growing up with the internet, they feel very hurt by the words. Remember, when I was growing up, I'm 47, going to be 48 soon. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. That's gone, right? That's gone. People that have grown up since the internet has evolved, words are very hurtful for these people, right? So they fixate on the hurt part and not on the part that they need to hear on how to fix their game. That's the problem. And again, it's not him specifically. It's a problem with the industry wide.
With a lot of frustration. I will say this right now. It's not just hardcore players. It's your casual base as well.
That's very true, Eclipse. Very true. Right? Eclipse says it probably doesn't help that most likely it's the only live service game making money for Sony right now. Right. So all the pressure is we need to make more money, right? Regardless of what I said earlier about the number needing to go up, like what they made last year compared to this year, and they need more revenue and more stuff. They're probably the only live service game actually making money right now.
Not just hardcore players. It is also your casual base. Okay? Just point blank in the story. Like, I'm sorry. But it's also your casual base as well. Don't, like, you have no idea how much you pissed off your casual base. I have friends that were casual.
Well, obviously. The hardcores are still playing, by the way. I mean, right? Craig comes in every day and is like, hey, Helldivers still out there. I need some help over there, right? He's playing. The people that love the game, whatever game it is, if it's Destiny, if it's Warframe, if it's Helldiver, if it's whatever it is, right? You're going to play that game if you're a hardcore person because you love that game. The casuals is what makes the thing move to great vast swaths of things if it's good or if it's bad. They've lost a lot of the casuals to play this game, and they're trying to figure out how to get them back.
That will never play your game again. All of my friends on
I'm gonna rewind here for a second.
Okay? Just point blank into story. Like, I'm sorry. But it's also your casual base as well. Don't, like, you have no idea how much you pissed off your casual base. I have friends that were casuals that will never play your game again. All of my friends on my friends list, before I started creating Helldivers 2 content, okay, has left your game. Every single one of them. They don't want to go back to your game. They have a bad taste in their mouth. Like, this AMA is, I don't know, it makes me more worried than anything.
This is just part one. He's going to answer more questions down the road.
Else. And I do think that it's going to have to take another escalation of Freedom 2.0 to really rein in, like, basically the game has to die a third time. We had escalation of Freedom.
Right. It's been twice now. And this is the third time. We'll look at the numbers
we had
in a second.
Into the Unjust. And I think that we're going to have another escalation of Freedom or Into the Unjust to really open up the eyes of the devs and to really get what we want as players. And I just feel like that is just them digging their heels in. And whenever I read the stuff from Pilestat and stuff like that, I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but, like, I just think that this is no. I don't think this is the wrong way of doing things, and this is the wrong direction of taking their game. And I do think that some of this stuff is.
The game is so fun, dude. It really is so fun.
It just feels like it is. Like, optically, like, every single answer that he gave just kind of felt like an ego. thing, but like, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I posted something in this too, asking about like durable damage changes to enemies, and you know, like, will they revert those? Because I do think that those are really bad for not only mechs but like all the other vehicles in the game, and even mission types. Like the old rig mission type, that mission type is completely trashed. It's basically like you should never play that mission because it's just bugged as hell right now. It's
See, that's the problem, right? There are certain missions that I want to play. I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore, right? And as I said in the very beginning, it's like throwing a meat starving lions in a cage, right? Because we're playing this one mission over and over and over and over, or this one planet over and over, right? And you kind of get tired of it, and they're like, hey, we've added this, and you're like, oh, and everyone runs and does it, and then it's broke. Remember when they did in the cave system when it came out? It was broke. It was broke, and they had a reset. They're like, all right, we're removing this for 6 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever the hell it was. Then they put it back in, right? It's stuff like that that just completely takes the wind out of the sail.
It's done. And of course, like, bring the Xbox players back. Those guys got unbelievably screwed over at
Was there a mass exodus of Xbox players? What happened now?
launch. They had horrible performance, and they had a Warbomb that was absolute dog shit.
I didn't have any problems with my performance, but I'm not saying there wasn't. I don't remember hearing that about the performance issues on Xbox.
And I've been fighting for those people, okay? Because I used to be an Xbox player back in the day. I'm fighting for those people because I want those people to come and play Helldivers and enjoy themselves. But this is where we're at right now. So, again, you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, like, share, and subscribe. See you guys next time.
Krebsy says, I think they already changed the super credits drop rates and how many you get. At launch, you could also find a stack of 100, but now you get like 10 per stack. I've found, just saying, and I haven't played a lot, I've gotten one or two, if not 3 100s. It's just a random thing. You find a lot, but I did notice even finding super credits, sometimes I would go on a board, I get 0. And then other times I get like 30. Now, obviously, if I play 4 matches and, you know, I find in 2 of them, it's 50% chance of getting credits, and then how many you get, right? It does seem like I've been one time where I opened up a door and I found 200 credits in the one stack, like in both those spots, 100 and 100. So I don't know if they've changed it. That's why I said if they data mine and they actually find out that they actually did change it, then the shitstorm would happen. So there you go. Go check out his video or check out his channel if he talks about other stuff. That's Wise Guy Vito. Yeah, look, I get that everyone that loves it is just like, it's perfect. I get it. You love the game, right? But there's major issues with it. Hence, if there wasn't issues, there would be people still playing, and there wouldn't be a mass exodus of happening, right? Now, it could be a mass exodus of a bunch of different things because there's other games that have come out, right? There's Windrose, there's Requiem, you know, there's Crimson Desert. There's a bunch of stuff, right? Now in the last couple days, it seems like there's been more people clicking in, but that's the start of it, right? February of 2024, and then boom, by May it cratered, right? 458,000 down to 125, and then, you know, here let's do like 6 months, right? So this is Into the Unjust. This is the march towards Cyberstan. People came back, they're like, yeah, right? And it kind of balances out a little bit. It sticks around about 50,000, right? It's still around there, right? I don't think you're ever going to get back to what you were, right? You'll get the peaks like this. 170, maybe 200. The game is never going to be like that unless they change dramatically. But the player base that's here, the 50,000, right? And again, when you look on the actual game, it'll tell you there's like 300,000 people playing between this and all the other platforms and whatnot. Right, so they still have, but there's times in there at night I'm playing, and there's like 30,000, 60,000. You're like, that's not a lot of people, right? So they got to figure out something, and I think Eclipse got something where maybe it is the only game that Sony's for the live service that's actually making money, and there's more pressure on them, right? Because there was a lot of games that were supposed to come out that were live service since this game came out, that were supposed to also make live service money for them, and they didn't do that. So now they're like, hey, Helldivers, I know you guys are doing really good over here, but we need you to kind of crank it up a little bit. You missed whatever it is. They could still be making profit of $100 million. Again, I'm just making a number, Just making a number, right? Making $100 million. And then all of a sudden the following year comes around, year 2, and they're like, well, you only made $102 million. We knew those numbers up there. We need $120 million. And they're like, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, let's add some more war bond stuff. Right? And what the player base wants is just the game to be fixed so it feels good to play. And if it feels good to play, then people will play it. Because then word of mouth starts to kick in again, right? Hey, game's really fun. Come on in, right? But I think that's the problem. I think the problem is that they've, I don't want to say jump the shark, because they haven't jumped the shark, right? They're just doing what their overlords are telling them to do. If this was just a single-player game, and I say single player, let's just say if it was a standalone game, not a single-player game. If this was a standalone game and you were just playing with your friends and there was no live service aspect of it, then it would be completely different. But here we are. Travis says, the problem is that even Helldivers 2 isn't good enough for them. In the eyes of people who like the service, if they aren't making Fortnite money, isn't enough. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think you want to strive to be like them, but I don't think you have to be like that. Let's see here. Tarner says, it doesn't stop Helldivers, Travis. It's just the only one that struck gold. Altern says, all this AMA did for me is show that the devs can't do their job. Almost all answers were basically, sorry, we can't do it. It almost feels like, even though it's way more successful, it's almost like Crystal Dynamics when they used to answer questions for Marvel's Avengers, right? Like the first 6 months was fine, but then after the first 6 months, they started like, oh, we'll have to get back to you on that. We can't do that. We're not going to do that. They already knew behind the scenes that their game was done and closing down, and they were just pulling us away. Not saying that's what's happening to Helldivers in any way, shape, or form, but that's what it feels like as far as they can't really tell you what's going on. Just Enough says, did I miss the part where the dev said the game was never meant to be balanced? He didn't say that in his specific video. If he did say that, he didn't cover it, right? I mean, I've always said, and you said it in the Discord just enough, right? You said the other video that you sent me was the guy, I didn't watch it, but I don't know why people balance PvE games. I don't know why people balance PvE games. The power fantasy is I want to destroy things, right? Balancing things to make it weaker and to make it harder to be harder sake or whatever. It just never feels right to me for single player games, multiplayer games, PvE type of games where they're nerfing the thing. Like, who's complaining there? The NPC? Are they calling up and being like, hey, we're getting killed too many times by the PvE guys? It makes no sense to me. People play video games to have that power fantasy. If you want to go up a level, then make it harder on yourself, which you can do, right? Go to level 10. Right? They even make an incentive. 6 or 7 or higher, you get the rare stuff, right? Personally, I've said this, I think after year 1, I said to get the high-end supplies, the resources, because a lot of people play solo or duos or they get kicked, they should take the greens, okay? And let's say it's a 10-to-1 ratio, right? So if you're time is time, right? So if you're in the lower tiers and you're just grinding the commons, 10-to-1 ratio for the next one up. So you can turn in the greens to get one of, the next level up. And then the same thing. So then it's like a 5-to-1 ratio, right? So you take 5 orange for purple, whatever it is, and so on and so forth. That way, someone that likes playing your game that can never get the purples because they stop because they just can't get them, they can grind down here, convert them over. That way they can upgrade their stuff so they continue playing, right? But they won't do that, right? They won't do that because in their mentality of the brain is, no, you need to go up higher because there's people that defend all other games, the difficulty level or whatever. They're like, well, no, you should play with the higher level difficulty. Even though the casuals are like, I can't get this. This is all unlocked or locked for me because I don't have time to play with other people. And then when I go in with other people, they kick me because I don't have the stuff. Okay? So the hardcores, there's some hardcore people that are fantastic. They'll help you and talk to you and all this other stuff. Then there's the other people going, I don't lock their groups for whatever reason. And then when you join them, they kick you. you're trying to find somebody. So now instead of my time, the hour I have to play a game with someone, if my friends are not on and I try to join randoms, 25 minutes of it is I'm getting kicked back to the ship so I could go find another group, and I'm like, I'm just wasting my fucking time. So now I'm just playing solo. Now I'm playing solo in the medium thing, and then I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. And you shut down the game, and you move on to something else. Instead of letting people play the game and enjoying themselves. It's like this process. It's like a hazing process you have to go through. And it's, again, it's not just Helldivers. It's just games in general. Clip says, yeah, I haven't played in a month, but I found 100 twice when I was playing. They're just rare, yeah. Let's see. Is that update coming live tomorrow where you have to log in? I think so. I'm not sure. Turner says, this is why I've avoided ported games for the most part. It's a toss-up whether or not they also properly or not, either due to dev issues or sabotage in their own port to make their main platform look appealing. Well, at least there's also my thought, and when I was also hard about performance issues with the Helldivers on my Xbox. I don't remember I don't remember. It worked fine for me. I didn't have any issues on the Xbox side. Just Enough says, TLDR, we never wanted to balance the game, and now we do. It takes forever, and we can't cover everything every patch. So why do they have to balance it now? Why would they have to balance it? I would assume they would have to balance it so they could charge them inside the war bonds. Right? If it was supposed to be just fun and just have a blast with it, then why would we do that? A directive came in and they're like, hey guys, we need more people to play longer and for the grind and for the thing, right? And we can't get the war bonds now, so you have to check in. Instead of just giving free war bonds, now you have to check in. If you don't check in, then you have to pay for the thing. Now you have to pay for the thing, then you also have to have the time to play in the thing, right? So instead of just people going, oh yeah, I have enough, pay the $10, and then boom, they unlock everything because they have the 50 or 100 or 250 war bonds or whatnot, and then come back 5 weeks later and then finish it, right? They don't want that. They want engagement. They want to make sure it's balanced. They want to make sure it's grindy. They want to make sure it's, instead of just power fantasy, man. That's why I refuse to play over level 6. The bare minimum. Bare minimum to get the purples. Right? Bare minimum to get the purples. If I play at level 6, that's where I can go to get the purples. And here's the thing. Because the purples only show up on certain boards, because if you're in the city level, it's super hard to find them. So the most efficient way to do it is do the purples, but on a board that has a wide open desert or whatnot, so I can find them. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. Right? Because I have to level up my gear. I can't level up my ship, and I can't level up my ship unless I get the purples, and I can't get the purples, right? Because if I join a random, they're just doing quick things. They're not even doing the whole board. Hence why the last time we played, I'm running straight to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, trying to find him on the board, so I can get it, and I put the perk on, so I get more while I'm playing the game. Because it's so hard to get the purples, right? I got like 250 hours in the game off of 2 platforms here. I think I'm level 73 and I'm level 64. Just Enough says something about the player demand, then add new powerful stuff. And then the old stuff, whack. Players want older stuff buffed. It should literally just be, they should have just kept cosmetic stuff. All the stuff they added in for the game is like they did year 1, right? We're taking over the ammo depot. We get the mech. We're taking over this thing. We have a new research gun. It's a Tesla coil, whatever. They should have all kept all that stuff behind the scenes in the game, so everyone can feel like a community unlocking it for a group, and then just make the war bonds cosmetic. But they got to make that money. Hence why they have the more legendary with the kill zone, with the halo, right? The Judge Dredd helmet, right? It gives me stats and stuff, but I would have purchased it in the store if it was just cosmetic, right? Because it looks cool, right? And purchase it with in-game currency, not the actual currency, right? Because I don't really buy microtransactions, right? If you want me to earn the currency and then spend that currency in the game, time or money, I choose time. Because I have time. All right, it's 12 o'clock. How long is that Laura Fryer video of Fair Games? Uh, 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Yeah, we could watch that. We could watch that. All right, let me just add her. Let me add her to the description down below. All right, so this is Laura Fryer. Why Fair Game could be Sony's next marathon. Let's watch this, shall we?
You want to know about us? Seems like everyone does these days.
When we saw this game, was it 3 years ago? Was it 3 years ago? I think it was 3 years ago. We literally all said togetherly while we were watching the Summer Game Fest, we're like, this game's dead on arrival.
It's simple.
Back in May of 2023, Sony stood on stage at the PlayStation Showcase and revealed two big new live service shooters at the same time.
Yeah, this is Marathon.
Marathon from Bungie and Fair Games from Haven Studios. Fast forward to April 2026, Marathon is actually shipped, but its player numbers are declining and
Uh-oh, is Laura Fryer a hater of Marathon? You can't report stuff like that, Laura. You can't tell them that the player base is low. You're a hater.
retention looks pretty rough. Fair Games? It still hasn't launched, so we can't talk about post-launch retention. What we have instead are consistent reports from multiple playtests over the past few years describing the game as super clunky and simply not fun. A problem insiders say has persisted throughout development.
It's always a good sign when your game is not fun. And they're like, let's continue playing it, shall we?
They're now
And that's not Marathon, that's Fair Game she's talking about.
desperately pivoting to a dedicated extraction mode called Concord.
Laura's making shots fired. Shots fired.
They're now desperately pivoting to a dedicated extraction mode called Concord. I mean, cargo heist.
Did she mean to say that? She had to mean, she said that on purpose, right?
Given that Sony brought in Bungie to review Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Online, a project that was reportedly around 80% complete, and Bungie's reality check helped get it canceled, it makes you wonder, why in the world would we believe that Fair Games is actually going to ship?
It's a good question, Laura. It's a good question. I mean, I think they're going to ship it. But the question is, if it gets canceled, that means they think it's worse than Concord. But they're pushing forward. They're pushing forward with it, meaning they think it's better than Concord, which means we could literally have the next Concord on hands because this thing could come out, die, and then somebody's like, we just got to wait 14 days. We can't have two Concords, okay? We just have to let it, it's better to pay than to be the meme.
Today, I want to talk about extraction shooters in 2026 and why it is that they keep running into the same wall. And a big part of it is they keep losing sight of the audience that has always made the genre work. Hardcore extraction shooters like Tarkov and Hunt Showdown have always been overwhelmingly played by adult men.
No. Say it ain't so. Adult men play video games and extractions? Say it ain't so. Now, obviously, I believe that. She believes that as well. Okay. But there'll be people that tell you, no. There's so many people that play it. Yeah. Okay. The masses play it.
A major
because now Arc Raiders, right? Because Arc Raiders is the number that's high because they made it more casual. They think that all extraction shooters should be like that.
Tarkov community survey showed 97.7% male and
I'm sorry, 90 what?
Major Tarkov community survey showed 97.7% male, and Hunt is widely considered to be in the same ballpark.
97. 97% male. Someone's going to be like, well, I watch a female streamer. We know why you watch the female streamer, and it's not because she's playing Tarkov.
Most players are in their 20s to 40s. These players come looking for high-stakes tension, real risk and reward, and power fantasies that feel immersive and rewarding right from the start. When the characters don't look cool or desirable to that audience, or when the central fantasy theme feels off, you create an instant barrier in a game genre that's already hard to retain players in.
Right.
Both titles hit this wall early.
So now, okay, not only are you trying to capture the 97% males that are already playing extraction shooters, either Tarkov or Hunt Showdown, but now you're trying to get the other people that don't play extractions, okay, which is the other, what is it? The other 3% of males that are not playing extractions, and the other 96% of females that don't play. They're like, how do we make it? Well, let's make it visually ugly. Let's make it visually ugly and see if they play this game instead.
Marathon went for a bold, high-contrast cyberpunk style with saturated colors and plasticky surfaces, stylized androgynous characters. In fairness, some players really liked the fresh direction.
Yeah, some. The smaller percentage.
But many others called it garish or simply unappealing. In a genre where the core audience wants designs that feel immersive or aspirational, that bad first impression really hurts the game. Fairgames faced similar problems after the reveal of their 2023 trailer.
That right there, right?
Game. Fairgames faced similar problems after the reveal of their
This sells you on the extraction, right? They're like, hey, let's make an extraction game that robs from the rich and gives to the poor, like Robin Hood, okay? And this is going to be, again, the player base, 97% male in this extraction shooter genre. And they're like, well, how do we capture the 96%? Well, first of all, the women don't play those games like that. They just don't. I'm not saying no women play, but the small percentage. And it's not going to change dramatically because you put a pretty girl in there for them.
2023 trailer. The exaggerated, trendy character designs were widely called out as distracting and simply not desirable to play as. A lot of people straight up laughed at it or mocked the trailer for
It's because they're haters.
that reason. On top of that, Haven Studios had built its internal culture around kindness as a core value, something Jade Raymond, the studio head, highlighted from the very beginning.
See the problem? We just read the article or watched the video for Helldivers talking about we like the feedback, but we just don't, the words. It's the words that really affect us. Okay, here we go. Another studio. When people give them feedback, they might put a fuck or shit in there, right? And they're like, oh, I can't hear what you're saying, right? They might give you a whole bunch of good feedback, but because they said fuck, shit, or made an insult towards somebody, they're like, yeah, they're just a bunch of haters. Instead of taking the feedback that they actually gave them.
As a key to creativity and collaboration.
I haven't seen a lot of other game studios is kindness. We really believe that kindness is going to unlock the creative, the creative freedom or innovation. And
butterflies and rainbows, my friends. Butterflies and rainbows.
And that's something that really did come from the team. I wasn't there when the brainstorm happened and did this whole mind map thing. And kindness appeared.
On paper, that sounds great. Who doesn't want people who are kind? But we've seen at plenty of other studios how an extreme focus on kindness can easily slide into toxic positivity, where real problems and honest feedback get buried because nobody wants to be the one seen as being unkind.
Do these people never, stereotypes are for a reason, right? And when they say it's a dog-eat-dog world, okay, it's not because, it's because business is kind. The reason business is not kind is because it depends on a shit ton of money that you're taking and borrowing from someone else, and they have to make that money back. That's just the way it is.
Given that emphasis, I thought they might lean toward a game that reflected more cooperative or positive team dynamics. Instead, the original marketing leaned hard into an eat-the-rich fantasy of robbing ultra-wealthy targets to rebalance the scales. Power fantasy works best when it's direct and escapist.
Exactly
I am
right.
powerful, I win, I take the loot. When it's wrapped into some moral superiority about robbing the rich, when what you're doing all the time in the game is just fighting other players for their stuff, It stops feeling like pure empowerment. It starts feeling like an agenda that doesn't quite align with what most players boot up a shooter for, which would be tight gameplay and satisfying power fantasies. That thematic mismatch created skepticism before anyone even played. What you show in your marketing and trailers is just as important as the actual gameplay when it comes to attracting players, because in the beginning, that's all they have. Marathon released in March. It has strong gunplay and an interesting world, but the numbers are concerning. Steam concurrent players peaked at
Can't bring up the numbers, Laura. Can't bring up the numbers.
a good number, but have dropped sharply since launch with ongoing downward trends. At a reported budget well over $200 million, being mid for the core audience simply isn't enough. If this were a small indie studio, it might be fine. But when you're Bungie and you have that kind of money on the line, the game needs to be more than just okay to justify the investment. Fairgames hasn't released yet, so we can't talk about post-launch retention.
I'll be honest with you. There's not going to be long-term retention for Fairgame. Fairgame is going to die a quick death.
What we have instead are consistent reports from multiple playtests describing the game as simply not fun. The original competitive heist sandbox...
Your whole point of making a video game is to be fun. And multiple tests have said this is not fun. Even from the studio itself, they can't find the fun factor.
is now pivoting towards a dedicated extraction-style cargo heist mode. Break in, drill the safe, grab cargo, and extract. Or use a getaway if things go wrong. Also, it's reportedly shifting to free-to-play. This follows rapid studio growth at Haven. They started around 50 to 60 people in 2021 and are now between 250 to 270 after Sony acquired them. Jade Raymond left in May of 2025 after a poor external playtest, and the original game...
I don't know where you guys are going with the percentage of stuff that you're talking about. The topic on hand that Sarge is talking about is the 97% of people playing extraction shooters. You guys going down the rabbit hole here of gamers that play video games and that are 40% women and stuff like that has nothing to do with the 97% of what he was saying.
Director followed. When you combine fast scaling, leadership that hasn't shipped in a while, and creative choices that aren't clicking with their audience, it's an expensive and risky mix. And we're talking real money here. My best guess is that Sony's sunk probably $130 to $170 million into it.
130. Is this a free-to-play game? I think this is a free-to-play game, right? Fair game? Or is it a $40 price tag?
When you factor in the acquisition and all the hiring. And yes, I know one of the big benefits of being in Canada is because you get an extremely generous video game tax credit. They currently refund around 30 to 37% of eligible labor costs. That means a huge chunk of those salaries get offset by the government.
Well, that's good for them. Hopefully they can still make a profit off of the 37.5% discount they're getting off the Canadian developers.
Even with that help, though, this is an enormous bet on a game that hasn't found the fun yet. At this point, I would predict that Fairgames is never going to ship. Or, if they do ship, we're going to get another Concord.
Ooh. I mean, she's not wrong. And it's going to ship. I don't think they're going to cancel it. And if it does get canceled, good. That means they just eat the money, tax write-off, which they should do, I'll be honest with you. If the game is not fun, and you're trying to put it out there just because you have to hit a quota, you're going to have another Concord on your hands. So you might as well not even release it and just eat the cost and work on something else.
They've got repeated playtest issues, they've got leadership exits, and their desperate pivot suggests to me that the fundamentals still aren't there. Look, it's fine if game developers want to explore crazy looking or unattractive characters, if they want to create a distinct look like in Marathon. I will never be on the side of limiting the creativity of game developers.
Yeah, make a game, sell a game. But when a game comes out and people don't want to play it, you can't say that the people are racist, sexist, misogynistic. They just didn't like your game. That's just the way it is, right? If a game comes out and it peaks on people's interest, people will buy it. If people word of mouth see it and they like it and the game is good, they'll play it. If it's not interesting to them, they're not going to play it, regardless of whatever the game is. Doesn't matter if it's a farm sim. Doesn't matter if it's a first-person shooter. Doesn't matter if it's an MMO. If the masses don't catch on to it, then it's a failure. All depending on what the budget of the game is.
At the same time, these big studios need to scope the budget and the features for the audience they're actually targeting. In my opinion, the extraction shooter market isn't the best place for these expensive experiments. Not if you want to stay in the business long term. Extraction shooters aren't dead, but 2026 is showing how costly it gets.
I totally forgot about this one. This game right here, I don't know if it's going to make it either.
When games drift away from the audience that has always supported the genre. I think it's fun to see developers explore.
Scott, you generalized what he said. Literally the whole chat, when we talk about stuff in this, is the topic that is on hand. And the topic that's on hand is what Laura Fryer is talking about, extraction shooters, where she talked about 97% are playing that. You and GDP here have assumed that Sarge is talking about that. Like,
or bold new styles and themes. And I'll never be against the creative freedom of game developers, even when I don't personally love the aesthetic, the characters, or the message. That kind of experimentation is what makes games and the world more interesting. It should exist. The problem is when studios try to broaden appeal by simply layering on trendy ideas or
yeah,
aesthetics.
it's not a smart idea. When you do the trendy stuff, you have to have the player base already. And you're taking a player base of a player base, right? You're taking PvP, which is a set of people. Then you're making an extraction on top of that, right? Then you're looking for a specific, clientele for these things, while there's also already, before there was 2 games, now there's 4 games, now there's 6 games that are all extractions. So that piece of the pie is shrinking as the days go on.
Messages on top of the core fantasy without deeply understanding why the hardcore audience shows up in the first place. You can't force people to love something new. You can only present it, test it early, and see what actually resonates. Ideally, before you've spent millions scaling a studio and building a full game. You grow a game by satisfying the core first, then thoughtfully expanding, not by bolting things on and hoping a wider crowd will suddenly love it. We've now seen enough of these experiments to recognize the pattern. I just hope the next extraction shooter learns from these lessons and delivers something that truly clicks with the players who've always shown up. Because when it does, that's when the magic really happens.
If everything is great, because nothing negative is ever discussed.
Oh, here it is. Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine. Don't tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you like.
Then first of all, things aren't so great. And second, it won't ever be great. Because if you don't fix the problems, they're just going to grow and grow while you ignore them until finally things just have to be canceled. That project that got canceled, I think it easily could have been saved. But it wasn't, because the problems were ignored until it was too late to do anything but cancel.
Tim Kaine, man. It's funny that he's always like, don't tell me what you don't like about my game. Tell me what you like about the game. Well, that's not called feedback. That's not feedback. Right? Feedback is something that you didn't see or overlooked. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that was a problem in the game. Right? I didn't know that was a problem inside the game. If you guys like Laura Fryer's video, go check her out. Love watching her videos. She's, a person that's been in the industry for like 25, 30 years. So it's nice to hear her talk about stuff. The Concord shot was pretty funny. Because she doesn't usually make jokes like that. She literally just says it how it is. The Concord shot. She's like, it's a Concord. It's like, holy Christ. She's even getting in on the jokes now. All right, let's go to Twitter and see what's happening on Twitter. Concord is for all ages. Yeah, I just think it's funny. Obviously there's reporters out there and people that don't know the joke anymore. Like Concord is morphed into a meme, right? So when people run with it and say like this is the next Concord, it's just like saying this is the next DOA game, Dead on Arrival game. That's it. They just now have taken Dead on Arrival and they've used Concord as that thing. But people take really offense to it because they're like, what do you mean? It's not the next Concord. To be the next Concord, your whole thing has to shut down, by the way. Like, your game just can't be bad. Like, your studio has to shut down. And it has to happen in 13 days. Oh, sure. There's way more. I don't want to say way more. I would say there's more failures, like in the movie industry, right? There's way more failures than there is success stories. Otherwise, everyone would be making a movie, right? So in the movie industry, if a studio makes 10 films a year, 7 of those are not going to make money. They're not going to make money, okay? Take it from me. I worked in the film industry for 20 years, okay? 7 films not going to make money. 3 are profitable or just make profit. And then 1 is a blockbuster, which makes up for the other ones that don't make money, okay? In video games, they don't have that luxury, right? They don't have that luxury because a studio that's not Microsoft or Activision or PlayStation that makes multiple games a year, right? They work on a game for 7 years, right? It used to be 2 to 3 years. And it also used to be way under, like 10 million, 30 million, 50 million. Now it's 100 million, 250 million, 300 million, 350 million. It takes 6 to 7 years to make a video game, right? They don't have the luxury of coming out with a game that took 7 years to make and fail, right? They got to recoup that money pretty goddamn fast, right? Now, they don't get that. They don't get that luxury. A game comes out and they can see that it's like this. They're like, there's no way. Once this happens, you have to change something dramatically for your game to come up on an uptick to make it positive and people are buying it, right? It's got to be a good game, right? Good games make good games, right? Bring in good vibes. Like, if you have a good game, regardless of whatever it is, whatever you think that good game is, right? Word of mouth gets out. People start buying the game. They're like, oh, this is a really good game. Doesn't matter if it's an Among Us. Doesn't matter if it's Crimson Desert. Doesn't matter, right? When the numbers don't start going up or the word of mouth's not out there, people are like, oh, that's it. That's it. That's the run. That's the run of the game. Sure, it could still make money in the long term, right? But once the first 3 months are gone and it didn't make its money, it's probably not going to make its money. Again, going back to movies, if you go to the movie industry, the box office, if it doesn't make a percentage of its money in the first weekend, let's say it needs to make, really needs to make about almost 50% of what it needs to make the first opening weekend, okay? Or close to it. And if it doesn't make that, well, then it's got problems because it's not going to make its long run because they're in the theater a shorter amount of time now. Then they had the DVD sales. Well, they don't get that anymore either. Hence why if you make a $300 million movie, you're not making your money back unless maybe Avenger Doomsday and stuff like that. Says, oh, for sure, I prefer to focus on the games that are good, that I enjoy. Sure. But welcome to the podcast. We talk about daily news stories, and most of the time the news is not really good. But we do talk about good news when it's written. Water Bear says, Fairgame is being shut down tomorrow. Contender being shown tomorrow. Let's go. Which game? What's being shown tomorrow, Travis? It'll be very interesting to see what happens with the first wipe of Marathon. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the next wipe for Arc Raiders. Blood and Dawnwalker. Oh, 100%, Ashraf, right? There's so many things begging for your time now. And that's why time is the most, the hardest currency that you have, right? It doesn't matter how many, like right now, Hightail came out earlier this year, early access game. I paid less than $25 for that game, played it for hundreds of hours, loved it. But then Crimson Desert came out, and then I put 160 hours into that game, right? Then Windrose came out, and I've put in 50 hours into that game, right? I'm playing little bits and pieces here, like I played Minecraft and Fortnite and SnowRunners and Deep Rock Galactic, right? Like I've played a bunch of games, but it was like small little moments, right? Small little time frames here and there. Well, I'll be honest. There are things that, like, I don't want games to fail, right? But I do want companies that make shit product and try to tell us that we're the problem when they're trying to have an agenda. I'm okay with them failing. I'll be honest. Okay? I don't root for failures, but I root for things that want me, where they call me sexist, racist, and misogynistic. Well, then those people can fail. But I'm not just going out and going, I hope this fails. You make your bed, you lie in it. That's what it is, right? If you come out with an extraction shooter that no one wants, okay, and then it comes out and it fails because nobody was interested in it, and then you come out and say, well, it failed because of, well, the male haters or whatever the reason, make a game sell a game. Make a game sell a game. If I sat here and complained about why my channel doesn't get more views than other people's channels, that's pointless, right? I would take responsibility for what I'm doing. I'm making content, and the content I make is not for everybody, right? The content that I make, people get smoke blown up their ass. So they go to people that like the echo chambers they're in, right? We talk about news stories every single day. I try to give a middle ground perspective, or my perspective on certain things. Sometimes I'm for it, sometimes I'm against it, but I just give the story and then tell it. It's not very a popular take type of thing. So my channel, but if I sat here and be like, well, it's because of the people and you guys are racist and sexist, and it's just stupid. That's what they do. That's what they do. When it doesn't succeed, they have plan B, C, D, E, F, and G, instead of just owning up to what the problem is. Travis says it's good content, but it's not content for everyone. Is what you're saying. That's correct. Like everything else. Here we go. This is how you know Star Wars. Remember when we talked about how they devalued the brand of Star Wars, right? Okay, so remember how like Destiny could have just been Destiny, but they brought in Star Wars. Now, obviously, this is a completely different type of thing, but Star Wars is just a tool now, right? There's no respect for actual Star Wars or what it did for the movie industry and whatnot. It's how do we make money? Well, Power Wash Simulator. Love Power Wash Simulator, by the way, right? I mean that. I'm not being facetious in any way. Power Wash Simulator 2 has the Star Wars update where now you can wash your favorite locations, right? You got the Death Star, you got the X-Wing, you got Hoth, or that's not Hoth. That's a Star Destroyer. You got Tatooine, right? Yeah, you have the things, right? This is the problem what Star Wars is now. It's just who wants us? We'll take money from anybody to put it in there. There you go. Star Wars is now Power Wash Simulator. You too can power wash your way into Star Wars. Right. Wash your favorite Star Wars location. That's it. Marathon's on sale on Steam right now for Marathon Steam is $26.99. Is that official across the board? Is Sony and Marathon or Bungie putting it on sale, or is that just on that specific site? Have they put it on sale? What is this? 6-player co-op awakens. What is this? All right, hold on. What do we got here, chat? What is this? There you go. It's a 6-player co-op game that they only showed 3 people in. Yeah, it's always good. 6-player co-op. Let's It looks cool. It seemed cool until the combat began. Yeah, it looked a little weak there. What else we got going on Twitter here? Oh, has anyone else... Okay, so I removed Marvel's Rivals, okay, because I told you guys last week on the podcast, Thursday nights we do a podcast called Generation X Gaming. On the podcast, I wanted to play Marvel Rivals, the PvE event, right? So I downloaded it, tried to play it, and it crashed, okay? Then I tried to get back in, it crashed, tried to get back in, it crashed. This weekend, I deleted it, okay, loaded it back up, and every time I try to play the PvE event in Marvel Rivals, it crashes. Has anyone else experienced this in any way, shape, or form? Because I haven't had any problems with Marvel Rivals since it came out, and for some reason, now it crashes. What's the game that Brain put in chat the other day? Looks like Helldivers. Oh, that's the twin stick shooter game. It's a 4 players twin stick shooter game. Let me bring it up. That looked good. That looked good. That was... Was that in general? Yeah, here it is. It's called Dark Swarm. This looks good.
The swarm will take you all, one by one. So don't be one. Be together. Face the greatest threat to mankind together. And when it strikes, fight together. Work together. And when you're completely swarmed, run together. You will run out of ammo. Run for your life. Run out of time. Run out of luck. Never outrun them. Because they have overrun the universe. Take it back. Together.
There you go. That looks fun. I like the way the trailer is too. And when that doesn't work together, run together. Run out of ammo together. Trying to see what else is going on here. That's a question. Wait, where'd it go? Here's a question. Which one shaped you the most? Okay. Which one shaped you the most? Retro Dave asks, Sega, Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation? I would have to say Nintendo. Out of these four, I would have to say Nintendo. Just because of the time I grew up in. What's the question? Which one shaped you the most? Sega, Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation? Sega? Yeah, Sega's close. You got the Master System, then you got the Genesis. It's funny. You can tell where people pick, and then you know what age bracket they're in. Well, Aku, yeah, that's why I said, because I knew there would be one of you that would say something like that. I said, out of these four is what I said. But we know chat can't ever follow directions. Always has to be someone outside. Pick out of these four. Where's the fifth one? PC shaped your finances. I mean, we played a shit ton off the Apple IIc back in the day. You would think more people would play PlayStation, because PlayStation 1 and 2, that was groundbreaking with the discs. Well, Aku, by that logic, I also couldn't say that, because my first gaming experience was the Atari 2600. Although the Atari 2600 wasn't one of the options of the four. like the options are there. Asking, what are these four? Which one? You could just say none of them. None of them. Or not say anything. Yeah. Eclipse says, I didn't get into PC gaming until 2013. Jesus. We were PC gaming in 1981, 82. When did we have that? 80. I remember going to Sears. I remember buying the PC at Sears. I do remember that. '84. Apple IIc was released in 1984. So same time as the console. Yeah, I was 6. Yeah, I was 6 when I started playing on PC. Bought your first PC at the Comp USA. God, is Comp USA still not by me? Remember like Sound Advice, Circuit City, Comp USA. Oh yeah, we were playing all our TIE Fighter in games. We were playing that on the PC, Aku, back in the day. Oh, I hear good things about the Diablo 4 DLC or update that's happened. Which I find funny, though, is that they said that you can't die. Like, they made it so... They made it so casual that they're like, it's impossible to fail, is the article I read from PC Gamer. Yeah, they said the update makes it like super, like it makes it fun. There's no what's it called? There's no hardcore. I guess that it's always hardcore mode. I guess, but the way they were talking about it, they're like, yeah, it's just fun. Like you just go around and they're like, no matter what you do. Is that a paid DLC for Diablo 4? Or is that just a free update? It's a paid DLC, right? Yeah, they said in the article, they said, if you want a challenge, go play Path of Exiles 2. is what they said. If you don't want a challenge, just have fun in Diablo 4. Let me find the article. I don't know if I posted it. I don't know if I posted it in the let me see. Yeah. I finally like Diablo 4 now. And it's because I embrace laziness. That's the title. That's the title of the article. Okay? It's still no Path of Exile though. Okay? And in here it says let's see. Season of Path of Slaughter. Okay, if you try to follow a build guide in Path of Exile or its sequel, or attempt to make your own build, it feels like you need a degree in dungeoneering. There's so much wrap your head around, but so much to pour over. It's intimidating, but thrilling. Diablo 4 isn't comparable. It's a checklist that doesn't reward experimentation, though. It sounds like Lord Hatred will solve this somehow. Okay. It says, freestyling a build in Diablo 4 used to be like being stuck in a maze, constantly running into a dead ends. A skill could also be too often discovered. It was garbage unless you paired it with a specific item. Now, the most powerful effects are a skill tree themselves. Your gear still matters, but it's also been moved for some more supplementary role. Okay, in practice, playing through a campaign on my Warlock gave me the same thirst for experimentation that did Diablo 3. I swapped skills in and out between quests just to see if they would make a cut of my final build and found out hard to stick with one set. This is how, after going through the combinations I still want to explore in the future, I ended up with the world's strongest demon. This is exciting. But since I've been waiting for Lord of Hatred, like the rest of you, I've had to make to do with the current version of Diablo 4, where I've still managed to have a good time. It's all because I've stopped giving a damn. So to make Diablo 4 feel better, you just have to just stop caring. Okay? Instead of wishing Diablo 4 was a complex, compelling as a Path of Exile, I've reassigned myself to a fact that I never will be, and probably shouldn't be. We already have 2 of those games, and the other ARPG is The Last Epoch and more unusual things with skill trees and builds. Okay? With Diablo 4, we've just been enjoying laziness. I have a popular sorcerer build. I regularly spit 3 flaming rays of death out of my hands. Things explode, and some solid crafting allow me to redefine my build with the gear. But mostly, I'm just checking things and watching them die. Okay, I don't need to dedicate an entire evening trying to figure out ways to not suck. It's pretty satisfying. Does it feel a bit weird that death is only a worry if you literally step away from the PC to make a sandwich? Yes. It's hardly in keeping it the Sanctuary Grim, everything wants to kill you vibe. But on the other hand, I can go into, I guess, look or play. He didn't look at his thing. He's missing a K. Play with the dog without needing to portal back to town. That's handy. Not particularly exciting, granted, but with a bit of a bit beat and just looking for smoother, powerful fantasy, Diablo 4 has got me covered. Okay. The current season also gets you temporary play as the Butcher, which is immensely fun. Just running around, utterly obliterating things in just a couple of minutes, grabbing demons and humans alike with the meat hooks. Okay, so there's something to be said for getting too build crafty or theater crafty, as it holds so much appeal to Path of Exile. I just turn off my brain and run around the sanctuary. So there you go. If you want to shut off your brain and play an ARPG but not actually care what you actually do and just run around, and if you go make yourself a sandwich, it's the only time you'll die. Waterbear says D4 is a cool game. Play if you're just getting into ARPGs. It's pretty easy. Gear up. Pretty much any build works higher in Paragons. Yep. Jason says, wish I never bought D4. Biggest regret this gen. Eclipse says, Diablo has always been that. This is what the whole point of it is, why it's one of the best-selling ARPGs of all time. It did the same thing with WoW. It's the casual ARPG. So if you like it, there you go. I haven't played it since it launched. I didn't buy any of the DLCs. I haven't even logged back in for any of the free DLCs that they had, the free updates that they've had. Should I go back, chat? Should we play it? No. I mean, I own it, but I don't own the DLC. How much is the DLC? Campaign's the main reason. I mean, I played it through the campaign. Remember when we had to go through, how many chapters you had to go through to get the goddamn horse? The mount was like the longest part. I remember when we played it, where it was like, I was like, how far do I have to play the game to get the mount? Just as you owe nothing. I own it. That's what they told me. They told me. Oh, wait, just popped up. No, I didn't log in for the last 30 days. I don't own Diablo anymore. Oh, well. Oh, well. Eclipse says, well, you do get the DLC. You get both, so you can have 2 campaigns to play through. Just saying, if you want to do that. Don't have to. Okay. I played through the first campaign. I enjoy the campaign. I enjoy the game for what it was for the campaign. And then I stopped. And I haven't gone back since. And that's when it originally launched. Which is what? 3 years ago? Has it been that long? Holy Christ. I remember going, like, leading up to it, we talked about it for so much. Was that 3 years ago? Oh my God. When did Diablo come out? No, they're talking about when did it originally launch? 2023. Yeah, 3 years ago. Jesus Christ. Aqua says, there, to be fair, my Spiritborn that also built crafting with the actual formula couldn't die unless it was T3 bosses. Yeah, my guy was pretty fucking powerful. I'll be honest with you. I think that's why I got bored of it. We were done with the story, and then we were going to the end game stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I'm good. We had this conversation about resetting your characters and doing it again. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to do it again. I remember why I stopped playing. All right. It's 10 minutes to 1. We usually go to about 12:30. I'm done for today. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this Monday through Thursday. We just cover news stories, have conversations, and then we get your thoughts and opinions in chat as well. We'll be back tonight over on 30 and Still Gaming, which is our other channel. We play video games. We're either going to be playing Crimson Desert tonight or we're going to be playing Windrose tonight. Either one, we're going to be playing video games tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, over on 30 and Still Gaming. Link in the description down below as well. I do appreciate you very much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to support the channel. There is music that we play before the stream, after the stream. I have 2 albums up. It's called Perk Up, Press Play, Volumes 1 and 2, and a bunch of singles up there as well. All the music is written by me and made by AI. So if you guys like it, another way to support the channel is you can go listen to that. They're really catchy. They're good. I'm not saying that because I made them. They're actually pretty good. See you guys tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Yo, 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 yo. Be wars, now it's open doors. Gamers everywhere, no matter the store. Multi-platform rise, let's go. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Remember the times when the console wars burned? Had to pick a side, bridges never got turned. Exclusive drops kept us stuck in the fight. Now they shipping everywhere and it feeling right. Halo hit Steam, Kratos left home. Sony cross seas, now we standing on Chrome. Call of Duty don't care where you log in, whether blue, green, red, everybody's locked in. Back then, bragging like my box the best. Now it's yo, what you playing on? That's the real flex. Squads don't split, we unite for the win. Whether PC frames or a pad in your hand. Nintendo still holding Mario tight, but even rumors say Zelda might take flight. From couch to the cloud, from a disc to a stream. Gaming's for us all, that's the multiplied dream. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Game Pass rolling, making deals on the low. Sony dropping ports, watch the fan base grow. Even the Switch getting big boy drops. Monster Hunter, Fortnite can't make it stop. Epic and Steam, once fighting for the crown. Now it's like, yo, let the players get down. Cloud stream service, you can play on a phone. Doesn't matter where, you ain't playing alone. From Tekken to FIFA, from Destiny raids. Everybody linking up, no matter the shade. Fanboys crying, but the world too loud. Gamers stand tall, multi-platform and proud. Imagine back then if they saw this day. Master Chief on PlayStation, Kratos on Game Pass Play. Sonic and Mario shook hands long ago. Now it's every IP learning how to grow. So no more division, the culture's too wide. We gaming together, controllers collide. This is the future, man, it ain't pretend. Every platform, every player gaming won't end. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting